குறைந்த விலை நிறைந்த தரம் தங்கள் தேவைகள் அனைத்தும் ஒரே இடத்தில் ஜெயச்சந்திரன் டெக்ஸ்டைல்ஸ்.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The Chennai Silks, let the celebrations begin.
Hello Sandeep, welcome to Galata Plus.
Thank you.
First of all, I'm very interested in this poster behind you which says not a Sandeep Reddy Vanga film, but the Sandeep Reddy Vanga film.
No, actually, I'll tell you.
Is that a mistake or?
No, it's a mistake. Actually, the film school, we always heard professors saying that, guys, you should make the film, you should not make a film, because so it's actually the film by pata nahi kaise galti ho gaya in the announcement video, and it caught attention and it got a lot of thing, and poster designer Anil Banu, they felt like, let's use this, but I felt like I'm not the Himalayas or I'm the state, let's not use it. Then I corrected it. And nobody found, kisi ne pakda nahi hai. Only you are asking me. So I felt like it's a statement saying the film by, I always felt, you give 3 years, 4 years for a film, so
it
better
works.
make it. Yeah.
It kind of this one.
Yeah.
So, was this the film that was first called Devil?
No, that's a different thing. That's a little different characterization that I told to Mahesh sir.
Okay.
So
that's a different film.
That's a different story.
Okay.
Maybe the characterization you might find little, similar, but it's a different story. Yeah.
Okay. So, you first started this with a 5-minute pitch to Ranbir.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, 10 minutes,
yeah.
roughly. At that point,
Yeah.
what was the story?
At that point, I had the beats. I'd said, this is a story about a father and son. Predominantly, it's a love story. And this is the
love story between father and son.
Yeah, this is the madness and this is the milieu and this is the, A to Z. So I just mentioned very like a topography. The film runs in Delhi, like that, So you'll not know about the villain at all for a very long time. Usually what happens is like in the interval you open the villain, but this is treated this way. I majorly spoke about the treatment of the film.
Right.
So he was pretty impressed. I was in doubt. So because I was not prepared, but I had to meet so that, you know that you're working with him.
Right.
So he said like, I like the energy of this story. I said like, okay. And after 7-8 months I met and I narrated the entire, I think I narrated 3.5 hours.
Right. So you envisioned this as a father-son story.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But in the same thing,
Yeah.
at what point did the point that the son is an animal,
Yeah.
almost psychopathic creature, when did that flavor come into the son?
Father-son stories, there's so many stories. We always have this tendency of thinking what's in the market already. So I thought, see, I can't give Ranvijay Singh Balbir as a character name. It becomes like again Arjun Reddy, Kabir, another Singh. So I didn't want to sound like that because it's a lengthy name. So I thought like it has to be short, it has to be very powerful. So I don't know when it happened, but somehow I felt suddenly it struck and I called Ranbir and I said, what do you think of the title Animal? So he loved it. Luckily when we went to register the title, nobody has it.
Nobody has it.
Yeah.
No. So at what point did you begin to see the son
Yeah.
as this kind of an animal?
Yeah.
Like at what point was that? Was that right from the beginning?
Yeah.
Or as you started writing the thing, did you see, okay, it'll be interesting to make this son like so almost like a psychopath?
Whenever I get an idea about a story, majorly every time, I have the beginning, middle and end. So when you know what is your end, so you'll root up to it, you'll build up to it. So in a way I know, because I don't know, somehow I like the idea of keeping the knife in father's hand.
Right.
They say, look what I've done for you. And if you see the kind of expression he gives, Ranbir, he's like, Papa, did you gauge what is happening between me and you? At least now, is a kind of a thing. When I had that in my mind, I felt like this is an apt thing. It didn't germinate in between, but I thought it came very instinctively in the beginning itself, because in the speech also he says like, जिसने भी गोली चलाई उसको गला काट दूंगा.
In your films, let's say 2 films, basically Arjun Reddy / Kabir Singh
Yeah.
and Animal, you first define these flawed men as to what the flaw is. So in Kabir Singh, Arjun Reddy, you say this man has a serious anger management issue. In Animal, you kind of basically make Anil Kapoor say, "हमने एक criminal को पैदा किया है," or some, I forget the exact line, but
same thing, yeah.
something like that. So pretty much establish what is wrong with the character, and then you take that story onwards.
Yeah.
Why do you feel the need to have that little definition up front?
It is very. I didn't. Even my brother was saying that. Do you notice that you're following a pattern? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's very. It's very. I can't really.
It's instinctive.
It's very instinctive, and it went with the flow, and I don't know. There is no. There's no. I can't dissect it.
Right.
But I have to be very conscious that that should not come. And yeah, even in the Arjun also, the dean is saying things about him, and he wants him to say sorry. I said like I'm not going to say sorry. Even he is saying that I don't know. It aa gaya wo.
Yeah. What draws you to these very, very flawed men? Because for the longest time, the hero was somebody who does good things, who does no wrong. First, there was the good hero.
Yeah.
Then you got the Amitabh phase, where the hero was like a vigilante killer. He could do all kinds of bad things. He could like want to destroy his father. He could want to do all kinds of things. Like, you things you did not usually see a hero do. And then we went into this love story phase in Hindi where again heroes became good again. And then now we're seeing a little bit of this. So what draws you to this flawed hero? You were attracted to that.
Because what I figured out, even this question I asked myself also, what I figured out from the childhood, whatever films I liked were all flawed men. I don't know, for some reason.
Can you name a couple of films that you like?
Indrudu Chandrudu, Kamal Hassan's. Shatru is not a flawed man, Venkatesh's character. He's a little angry young man. There are a lot actually. In Hindi, too, there are a lot of films.
Right.
And majorly this happened in a very slow ascending order.
Right.
But I went into film school, exposed to world cinema, it became much bigger. With David Fincher, Martin Scorsese films, watching them, Stanley Kubrick films. So I felt like, okay, ये zone है, we can tell a story in this zone. The confidence came from those world cinema where I felt like, okay, flawed man ka, we can tell a story in a very compelling way, then audience will sit through. So
yeah. In Animal, the nice thing is, or the interesting thing is, even the father becomes a flawed man. He's a flawed man as well.
Yeah.
He's not perfect either. It's not like this guy's rebelling and see, for example, in Arjun Reddy, the father's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like Arjun's the rebel, whatever. He's the real fucked up guy.
Yeah.
But the father's like a good guy.
Yeah.
But here the father is also like he's fucked up in his own way.
Yeah. The accomplishment is so high, so it can't. There's no balance.
There's no balance. Yeah. So what pushes you to write in these extremes? I think that's what
that's a whole drama.
That's a drama.
You get the drama only when you deal with extreme things, or else. See, imagine like father was like Bombaril father or somebody else, other kind of father. This will not be like that, And even when the mother is talking to him, he says like children need love and attention, Balbi. And the way he shuts her, that shows that like he doesn't want to get into that topic because he knew that he's at fault. So
yeah. So what is the way you saw it? What is Ranbir's arc in the film? I'll tell you what I saw. Let me know if this is how you saw it.
Yeah.
In a childhood, he's desperate for his father's love. Then he doesn't get what he wants. So that leads him to certain disturbing behaviors. So then father sends him to boarding school, which is like a cage. You cage the animal in a boarding school and then in America. And he comes back as a kind of a tamed man. But when the father is shot and he realizes that the brother-in-law is responsible, the animal in him bursts out again. Yeah. Is that kind of roughly
how
the
thing is like I felt always that when you have that kind of a connection with the parents, when you're not in touch also, there's always that pain you're carrying throughout.
Right.
That, I'm not talking to my father for so long. And he's not trying to call him. So in a situation like that, when you know that somebody is trying to kill your father, I think your emotion doubles and multiplies. I think.
Right.
Even the anger, even the love, even the fear of losing becomes much more bigger. I think that's where I didn't try to justify also.
Right.
Because in the edit room when I was watching from A to Z, like not a continuous flow, but when in bits and pieces, I used to get this feeling that what has happened with these guys, because Ranbir played it so well. I have no words to express.
Yeah, Ranbir is an extraordinary performance.
Yeah, even I felt that in Sanju and even Rockstar. I lost while I was watching, I lost that it's a cinema. Especially it happened only with Sanju for me. I forgot that it was a film, and it happened with Anime also being my own film. So being your film happening is like, which is really hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen because I don't hear to my film's music.
Yeah.
I don't see my film scenes again and again. Like how people see and how people think like, oh, great scene. So like in the edit room, one day I felt like from inside, like what's happening with this guy's life, you know? That very rarely happens.
Right.
I was feeling bad. I was rooting for him. And I called also Ranbir saying that, dude, what have you done? Like, what is this? Because it's a, see, point is like when you write a scene and when you finish the screenplay and when you're going for the shoot, you change few things while you're, little things, not majorly. But to hold that with you for 3 years, it has to have something.
Yeah.
If you doesn't feel that it is not holding that, for me, I don't know about others, but I lose interest.
Right.
Few scenes like, I thought like, what, ye kaisa ho? Like, I don't know, how is it? But in the edit, when I see it together, it was like something else.
Right.
So that exercise is more painful and more interesting and more very, like you're at the edge of the thing, Idhar udhar ho gaya to you're gone. For example, Jija killing scene. It can go wrong. The flight goes up. What I was giving to the audience is like, kahani take off hua yahan se. They say na, from here the story took off.
So that's where the...
That's what I was symbolically trying to say, because I'm doing a little bit of a CG, green room CG also. I'm doing it the first time. I have no knowledge. Now I have a little understanding about it. So when he stopped the car, when he got down, there has to be shift of the music also, because you can't take the same background score from the car to the corridor to inside the room, killing. It has to be mix of BGMs also. And it should not like suddenly something is coming. It has to go with the feel of your whistle where the bacha is running towards the father. From there, it has to follow a pattern of looking like one family of a music. I think that was more, I enjoyed that process, and at the same time I was scared also.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, since you bring it up, your work in background music which you do, that's very unusual.
Yeah.
Because the cues that you give are not the typical, oh, sad means I'm playing a violin, happy means I'm playing something like a, the typical background cues. You go for very unusual instruments that leave us a little confused as to what is the emotion at this point, That disorientation is something, is that because of the music, or do you try to give that to the audience?
I always feel like, for example, if somebody is getting angry, there's a regular kind of BGMs you hear in most of the films. I don't want to use that. I always try to, use a different instrument in a different emotion and see whether it's working. Actually, this realization started, I'll tell you one backstory. When I went to film school in Sydney, so the moment I landed in Sydney, after 1 week, I bought a car. One of my friend's friend was leaving to Adelaide. So he had this 1994 Toyota Camry. I bought that for $500. So those days, 36 rupees is the dollar. So it's like 20,000. 20,000, I got a car. I was excited. So I used to go in the car to the film school, and usme there's one cassette player. There's only one cassette in the car left. One side is Swati Mutyam, another side is Sagar Sangam. Put the cassette, I was going. I used to go via Pitt Street to Rosebery, to my film school. That's the route. In the Pitt Street, George Street, I'm driving. It's a big, long tower buildings, and Chinnari Ponnari Kittai. This song, I was like, what's happening? This visual and this audio. I used to enjoy those drives every day, only on Swati Mutyam and Sagar Sangam, because only one cassette was there.
Right.
So
and there's a gentle movies and very Indian tunes.
Movies, and it's in a white country, and those long big buildings in between, and you see all in the red light also you see only white crowd running, and this music, Swati Mutyam and Sagar Sangam, I used to. There was a time when I used to feel, school khatam hote hi, I want to sit in the car, play, and go into different streets and enjoy this music and that visual. So maybe it started from there. From at that point, I feel like using a very different, peculiar, not a regular peculiar sound, but a different sound and a different emotion, and see how it works.
Right.
That exercise started there. Yeah.
Is it true that apart from Ranbir, I read in an interview somewhere recently that apart from Ranbir, nobody knew the story, the full story of Animal. Is that true?
No, Rashmika knew, few people knew, but Anil sir, mock said me saying, you never told the story. I told him, but because it's hard to, hold Anil sir's attention. So he'll shift into a different topic so that way he felt that I didn't narrate the story. But wantedly I didn't narrate to Bobby sir because I didn't want him to know the story.
Okay.
Because I thought like he's playing mute. Anyways, half of the expression is gone when you're playing mute. I thought like I don't want to know the story. I thought it will create something new in him because keeping him in that not knowing the story.
Yeah.
Actually, that helped. Actually.
That helped. Yeah.
But rest of them I told but not because I'll accept that the kind of depth with the emotion I narrated to Ranbir for 4 hours. I didn't do the same with everybody else. Yeah.
Right. Now you said that he becomes an like angry after he hears that his father is shot, right?
Yeah.
But there is this scene where for the first time he comes back
He's
from
quiet.
America with his wife and kids, and the brother-in-law Varun, Varun is his name,
Yes,
right?
yes.
He says, "You wait here," and he listens.
Yeah.
He doesn't say like there's no animal bursting out and saying, like he's my papa. Who the fuck are you to say let me not go inside or something like that? He calmly, patiently waits.
Yes.
Why does he wait?
No, I felt like he's coming after 7 years, 6 years, 7 years. And he knew that if he talks like that, there's going to be, he doesn't want to create an issue there. And if you remember, Rashmika says like, please don't do anything. And knowing his temperament. So I wantedly kept him quiet because he felt like this is not the right situation. It's not a 60th birthday party anymore to talk to him like that. And he knows that if he comes to know again, he's going to feel bad. And they're coming after so many years, he just want to meet his father, forget about what's happening around. He's very confident that, he's going to deal once he gets his, when the father says like, pehli goli lagi,
तो तुम्हारी आवाज
Papa, watch out. Then that's a way, in a way, father is also saying that you are not there, in a very subtle way. So I thought like when you get that from the father, then rest everything will wither away. So I didn't give anything that, chalo, tumhare haath mein chavi de raha hu, no, you take care, like a kissing on the hand, Godfather, you came back. I socha wo sab nahi karna hai. Next thing is like, he goes and talks to Shakti sir and from there he goes to the factory. I thought like, I'll show the aggression in the factory.
In the factory, yeah.
That the way he was saying those lines and all that, I thought, rather than showing there, pushing the jija, I thought, let's not do that. So deliberately, I made him sit quiet,
but that's
sitting with the workers, where you felt also, no? Or I felt like audience will feel there,
Yeah. And that's really what for me at least, why your films work so well, because what I expect you're not giving me.
Okay.
Because I would think that when an angry son comes back, or rather a worried son comes back, and this Jijaji of all people tells him that don't see your dad now, I would think he just shove him aside and say, I'm a son, who the hell are you to tell me not to see my dad? That's my expectation, right? But you're breaking that expectation and putting that. Now this is this again an instinctive thing, or do you think that this is what the audience will expect, let me do something different?
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes it's very instinctive, to be very frank, because I thought, when a father will also ask him, "Kahan tha tu ab tak?"
Yeah.
Papa, it's not important. He says, that's not important. Because he could have easily said, the Varun made me wait. But he'll tell to Shakti uncle, Mishra uncle. So, Varun ne bola. You feel that.
Yeah.
He's a true successor and that's why I wantedly made him smoking with the workers. He's just sadly smoking and he comes, he's shocked. Champ, what are you doing here? I thought this is what I want to give. See, this when places like this, I want to deliberately make the audience feel yehi hai,
Okay.
So that's what he says, like, Chere pe nahi likha na, to Balbir Singh ka beta, When he says, the Jesus says, and the cousins give him back.
Yeah.
Baap ka naam kya hai, Balbir Singh, Those things, we wantedly placed it, like, yeah.
Right. Why does he go to the pinned?
I felt, when I think this also, like, how do you judge a bodyguard? How do you trust him?
Right.
Because when I see big people with bodyguards, I have this feeling, how do you judge that guy? He can easily come, turn and shoot you, just like that. Like, how do you trust when you're having so much money? I thought like because he knew that he has a lot of cousins. So I thought like the inner circle will be more secured if you have from your blood and brothers and all that. So that's what he says, like, you know, that's a straight line from Godfather.
Yeah.
But history has taught us something like anybody can kill anybody.
Yeah.
ये लोग गोली चला सकते हैं लेकिन गोली खा नहीं सकते पापा के लिए.
Right.
So how do we trust them?
Right.
Then I thought like in the group picture also he takes that topic out. बड़े दादाजी का family को बुलाया पिंड से. Then there's a strange factor already established.
Yeah.
So I thought like that he'll reconcile the relationship and get the cousins. That's a high moment I felt.
Yeah.
It's a very cinematic high.
Yeah.
And like, you know, there's no dialogue. I wantedly thought like, let's see without a dialogue. And I got the BGM, we got the BGM before. So I was playing in the set, it was full of adrenaline. All, you know, tall Punjabi guys coming and touching his feet. And he's also like, you know, Anilji also baffled looking at who are these guys? Full of 12 people standing. And when I was shooting, when I was looking at everybody, I thought like, we should have a dialogue. The dialogue was not in the script. I said like, Ranveer, I thought like something you should say. A simple dialogue will work. Karosh bhi aaye, duniya jala dunga. It's a very simple and we heard 100 times. But the placement is
everything
so lethal. At that point, background score ekdam quiet hone ke baad. When he says all this, echo also a little because there's a high roof houses. So I thought we'll add a little echo in the dialogue. So all that worked.
Yeah. What I liked also about that is that we see these very strange photographs of these Sardars and all that in Anil's office.
Yeah.
And we're like,
Oh shit, you noticed, huh? Great.
no, but it's there, no? Like,
Yeah.
So I'm like, who are these people? What are these strange photographs and all that? And then you kind of...
Yeah, I wanted to create that. But, you know, so many times you do few things, nobody notices it. But you still want to do that. Good that you bought this. Nobody's asked me about this.
Right. It's like...
It gives a feeling that you belong there.
Yeah. So I'm like, these guys are not dressed in turbans and all that. But who are those people? And like, why does he have all that? So there's definitely some story happening there.
Yeah.
So, and then you get this.
Yes.
So it's like, wow, okay, so that's the connection.
Yeah.
So...
it's a deliberate brief given to my production designer, Suresh, that we'll put this. Jitna dikhta hai, dekhenge. Let's not put a close-up, but maybe in the background also.
Yeah.
I like to put that kind of detail in the films.
Yeah. There's a frame that may mean nothing, but I just love that frame. When Ranveer brings Gitanjali, Rashmika, to meet his father...
The bookshelf.
The bookshelf.
Yeah.
They're standing at the corner of this frame, and it's a wide shot.
Yes.
And you have that entire enormous roof to floor bookshelves.
Yeah.
And they're looking like two pathetic, like school kids out there.
Yeah.
Tell me how you...
No, I wanted to give that feeling that, you know, it's like he's your father, but he's a powerful man.
Yeah.
He's sitting with the chief minister having a coffee. So I wanted to create that, you know, you wanted validation, call it, you wanted your love of your father and everything, but your father is not a regular father.
Right.
Now we said like, get out of my house. You went out and you found the girl, came back. And for him to come and show, I think only when you are, you know, unconditionally in love with somebody, you can do that, you know, keeping your strength and ego aside, and you walk into the room and say, Papa, you know, I want you to meet somebody special. Yeah. That's what he says. Like, you know, when he's not looking at him, he'll say, Papa, main rehne nahi aaya. Don't think that with this, you know, I'll come and meet and get married, I'll sit at home. He's still saying, our equation is same.
Right.
I'm still going away from the house. But I want you to know that this is the girl I'm getting married.
Right. So those bookshelves are a kind of symbol of the dad's power and position.
Yeah, I thought like, and I hardly use any wide shots. Entire film I have, I think, like 3 or 4 wide shots.
Yeah.
So I thought like, this is the only situation. See, I felt like, see, you felt like so powerful also because of the reason also that, you know, I don't use just for the sake of using it.
Yeah, they're like two tiny people there, you know. So,
And even the girl in the little frock, it is making you more school kids kind of a feeling.
Yeah.
He was also very excited, having a smirk on his face. Okay, now I'm excited that I want to show you to my father, you know.
Yeah.
The question's also like that. You want to sit? You want to drink some water? She says, no. You know, yeah.
You know, with this Ranveer, again, let's go back to his arc. What made me so emotional at the end, he's a beast trying to A, protect his father, B, get his father to love him the way he wants to love him. And when he thinks that he has done everything that he can to protect his father, dad gets leukemia.
Yeah.
So he's going to lose his father anyway. Like after all this, after this murderous rampage of you know, doing all these horrible things, he still can't save his father. Tell me, why did you want that sense of him being a bit of a losing things at the end? you're saying that, like, I'm saying you could have just as easily have reconciled them at the end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you chose not to do that.
Yeah.
You're like, after all this, I'm still going to lose my dad.
Yeah.
My wife is walking away.
Yeah.
Before that, I lost my hearing.
Yeah.
I lost my bladder control, bodily functions.
Yeah.
There's so much that he loses.
Yeah.
What made you go towards that direction?
Actually, this was when I narrated the 10 minutes idea to Ranbir, that was there that time also, this
Okay.
idea, because this is where I felt like, you know, I personally feel with what my understanding on life is, great things are short-lived.
Right.
There's nothing like the way he comes and sits and says, Papa, let's go for a holiday. You know, we deserve a holiday. You know, life is not like that. I felt like itna sab karne ke baad, you have not achieved anything. In a way, I want to say that you killed so many people. I know they came to kill you, but still, you've killed so many people. I felt like, you know, the church father says there's no redemption. It's a destructive force. That's a fact. People might be laughing because of the way the father got irritated, but whatever the Swamiji and father is saying, they are facts. Even the Swamiji says, like, you know, tera samapt ho gaya hai. 36 is the limit, he says, but I chopped the dialogue because of the length. He says 37 is your limit. Since he got the heart, so he's alive. Or else there's no, because heart transplantation is today's world is happening.
Yeah.
Like 50 years back, 40 years back, there's no heart transplant.
Yeah.
That means you're dead. So according to the Jatak Vatak and all, he's gone. I always felt in love stories, accomplishment wala feeling should not be there. I don't know why I feel that. Maybe, I don't know the reason, but I felt that will be more dramatic. In spite of doing so much, you didn't get anything. And deliberately, I didn't want them to hug also when they're crying. I felt like, you know, the way he's giving back to the father is saying, आपके पास तो टाइम नहीं है. अगर मैं शिकायत करना शुरू करूँगा तो मेरा शिकायत पूरी होने से पहले आप खत्म हो जाओगे, आप मर जाओगे. He's openly saying that.
Yeah.
Because he's saying with a lot of pain. And he walked away with that report, if you notice, he's holding that report.
Right.
Still feeling something can be done, calling his friends in US and something like that. But when the father stops him and saying that the same thing what he wrote when he was a kid, he's saying it now. Ranbir gives a kind of expression, what is the point if you understood now? Then he still walks away. And I felt like he's so helpless that he's holding Mishra uncle and crying. I don't know whether the dialogue you heard, he says like, Mishra uncle, ab main kya karu?
Yeah, yeah.
I felt like this character never cries and he's saying, ab main kya karu, you're dead.
Yeah.
Ranvijay Singh Balbir's story is over.
Right.
Because he's never confused or he's like that ki, ab main kya karu, kya karna chahiye mujhe. So
Right.
I felt like I should leave the audience with that emotion in the climax, but I always had this feeling of a part 2.
Yeah.
So I thought like, let's give a glimpse. So I started that. Because there was a feeling for me, strongly, me and Ranbir, majorly Ranbir strongly felt like the idea is great, but we should use this scene now. Even I thought like, let's use it because
Which scene is this?
the chopper scene, the butcher scene.
Yeah.
So I thought like I'll take it little while, I keep a blank screen for a while and then use, but मुझे डर लगा कि लोग चले जाएंगे तब तक, because I wanted to leave that feeling for a while,
Right.
you know. But that complaint I always have, that वो feeling खत्म होने से पहले I opened the butcher. But yeah.
Right.
Because this feeling is going to continue for a while in the part 2.
Yeah.
So I thought like, okay, ठीक है.
Right.
When you see it like volume 1, volume 2, you'll feel nice.
Right. At that point,
Yeah.
you know, when Ranbir realizes that, shit, I've done all this
Yeah.
and I'm still a loser.
Yeah.
At that point, he says, let's do this play acting.
Yeah.
You become the dad, I'll become the dad and you become the son.
Yeah.
What made you say, that's the point, I want this final frustration to kind of break out there?
No matter he's saying, Papa कुछ नहीं होगा, मेरे बहुत सारे दोस्त हैं, clinical trials करेंगे, आज रात निकल जाएंगे. He's saying that, but he knew it's gone. Saying like 4th stage, 3rd stage, he knew that much. And he's saying, I thought, this is the chance I'm going to vent out my frustration.
All my lifelong...
Yeah, he's saying like, only we'll do one day. He says like, पूरी जिंदगी का तो नहीं कर सकते, आपके पास time नहीं है ना. Let's do one day. When Michael Jackson came to India. So I thought even that water splashing on his face and everything, you know, I thought there's a huge drama because you've never seen him shouting on him. You always seen father is slapping, shouting on him, calling him pig, putting on weight. We never see son doing it. I thought it will be very hard-hitting and powerful when we make the son talk like that. And even when the mother comes, it's like, Mama, you stay outside. It's between me and my father, and I got this chance after 35 years. So I don't know, this very instinctively happened. I thought like maybe this is how this guy should behave at this point. If he holds Papa's hand and saying, Papa, don't worry, I'll make it all right, and they're walking in the lawn, it's not going to work.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're giving me something
Yeah.
that I'm not expecting at that point at all. Though of course you gave me a series of things that I didn't expect. So even at this point I was like, okay, I know this is not going to be a conventional hug and Papa ye kya ho gaya, that kind of scene is not going to happen. So I kind of knew that it was going somewhere, but this is something I did not expect. Now tell me one thing, what does Anil Kapoor's, of course he loves his son in a general way, but is he also troubled by the boy? Like, why is he so violent? Why is he so, like, what is his feeling towards his son? Because I love that line, जब पहली गोली आई थी तो तुम्हारी आवाज सुनाई थी. So why does he say that? It's like, what does that mean?
Because I feel he must have understood when he was in 5th standard only that when he becomes an adult, he'll be a very protective son towards me.
Right.
He must have understood, because when he sees how he's behaving with the sister, holding the rifle and going to the college. And he's saying, actually, this is one line I removed it. He says, like, what's the point of being so wealthy in life? I thought, like, let's not give
This
that
is
wealth.
Anil Kapoor says.
No, the kid says,
The kid
Ranveer
says,
says.
yeah.
So you removed that wealth. I thought, like, no, he should not give an idea that, because kids get that.
Yeah.
Actually, kids who are 14, 15, 16, 17, in that age, if they know that father is rich,
Right.
then they will play that accordingly based on घर के, how the environment is at home. So when the father is not available only at home, so obviously there is 100% tendency that the kids fall into that trap of the fuck, we are rich, Somewhere, see, he slapped him, he sent him to the boarding school, but somewhere he knew that, what a guy, he did a wrong thing, it's according to the law and order, it's not right, but Papa ko to lagta hoga na. I know that he's a criminal, but look at his fury, look at the kind of, attitude he has.
So in a way he admires it.
Yeah, in a way he felt like, maybe if you were here, this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
That's why I was missing you. So that's what I said. That's a very subtle validation.
Yeah.
That subtle thing that, okay, now we are joining our hands. I didn't want to show it in a symbolism.
Yeah, yeah.
But in a dialogue, and even if you notice, he's not knowing what to talk. That's why he's going on the chest hair.
Yeah.
Saying, Papa, I never saw you with your chest hair, because he didn't know how to react. Because this kind of situation happened in the past, then he knows, Papa, don't worry, he'll hug. But he never had that moment, so he don't know how to behave, whether hold his knees or hold his hand or put a hand on his shoulder. So he's like, if you see Ranveer, like, it's a phenomenal job he did. Every shot he was great, but he's not even looking into his eyes.
Yeah.
He's talk about the hand, immediately Shakti uncle comes and says, doctors were confused, and the nurse comes and says, that's over.
Right.
After that, father is shocked looking at the TV, what is he doing in the factory? So I wanted to give that only. I didn't want them to meet only.
Yeah.
I have created a situation like that. From there, he went to the factory. From there, he goes to the pin.
Yeah.
He gets the cousins, and it's out of order.
Yeah. He just goes.
It's out of his hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even the phone call, my sister is saying like he can't do anything. He stopped Jija at the gate. Khatam ho gaya.
Yeah.
So I didn't create a situation only where the conventional things will come.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a hard part actually in
Right.
the writing.
Right.
Not to create that conventional thing, and still jump in the screenplay and still make it compelling was actually took time actually.
Right. I love the fact that because I love masala cinema, so the echoes are a big part of it. So when the same Jab Pehli Goli Chali comes when Bobby and he are fighting at the airport, and he's almost being overpowered, but then he remembers the dad telling him that, and like, that's the man I have to protect, and he gets that surge of power back. That was like a real goose flesh moment.
Yeah, actually, what I thought was, even Bobby sir has a backstory, like,
right.
I shot also, but CG may delay hua, and I thought like, let's not, because it's not fitting with the music for somehow.
Yeah.
Even when Ranbir is hitting Bobby, even there are glimpse of like a 14-year-old guy, 13-year-old guy running towards a grandfather. Grandfather is in the fire. He's in shock. That's where he loses his voice and all that. No, I thought, dono ka dikhaunga, flash cut, because I didn't want, just for the sake of a villain is a bad guy.
Yeah.
He also has equal reasons to kill Balbir. But somehow in the music, in that pattern, it is not sitting. And I thought, in the edit only, I thought, let's not use it. I will only use this.
There's many, many funny moments in this movie, but one of my favorite funny moments is when Ranbir goes to pin, gets all those people, and I love Anil Kapoor's face when all these people are touching his feet, and he's like, what the fuck is happening here? You know, just like he's just going like oh God, okay, whatever. You know, so something's happening here. I'm not understanding this.
Yeah.
So it's like that
Anil
was
sir
so
particularly gave look for everybody. That is which worked actually.
yeah.
He didn't, ignore not even one guy.
he's
11
like-
people, everybody was looking at it because it worked. Yeah, you laughed at that point because
I was just because the thing is, he did not expect this
Yeah.
because first of all, there is a family history there.
Yeah.
So he's not even sure that. See, when he himself is so distanced from his relatives,
Yeah.
he would think his son is even more distanced
Yeah.
from them. But for
Yes.
that boy to go there
Yeah.
and get all these people back, and suddenly he's like having a mini family reunion.
Yeah.
At one time, he's not even expecting anything. He's like totally like like he's gone. He's like I don't know what's happening. And Anil played that moment beautifully because it was he's just like so confused, what's happening here. So that was lovely.
Yeah.
So did you see parts of this movie as a dark comedy? Because for me, it definitely felt like there were parts of this that were a dark comedy.
Yeah, okay.
Did you feel that at all?
No. There's a humor which is very organically unfolding. I thought, okay, it's nice. Such a dark film, I thought like little humor to banta hai, matlab.
Right.
It's better. So whenever it is coming, I didn't stop it. I let it happen, even the prostitute scene and all that.
Yeah.
I thought like, let's go with the flow.
Right. When the cousins are with
Yeah.
with those women and all
Yes,
that kind of stuff.
yeah.
It was just a random scene there.
It's just a random scene. I thought like I'll break the ice also because, see, either you celebrate with your cousins, either you scold them. Then only you will have a kind of understanding or you're breaking the ice. Celebration, I didn't find any reason to celebrate for any other reason.
Yeah.
Because other than 2-3 cousins, the rest of them are like a little strangers only to him.
Yeah.
Because one guy who's a fan, one guy with Jitta is like Kab aaya tu and all that. It's in the entire lot, 1-2 people are close to him.
Yeah.
But the rest of them are like, I thought like it's a nice comic relief also.
It is.
And now you individually you identify everybody. So what happened in the screenplay? You see them like bodyguards. When Rashmika says like bodyguards ke saath, he says like, don't dare to say bodyguards, they're my cousins. He's like, okay, they're cousins. When the first time you're viewing, uske baad you see in the print like group of people talking, but you don't identify really like who is who. So I thought that scene was actually helped.
Yeah, it's like to demarcate
Yeah,
who's who.
yeah.
But in a strange way, that scene also has an echo because he's telling these guys, what if one of these women is a spy, and later he gets a spy in the form of Zoya.
Yeah.
So it kind of kind of has a.
That's why in the swimming pool scene where he comes and says, like the difference is we pay and he's using his talent.
Yeah.
So we all equal. Then that guy says like, "नहीं मोहब्बत हो जाता है बड़े लोगों को."
That when he's making the fruit juice or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned The Godfather. I noticed quite a few similarities in The Godfather. That film also opens with a long celebration of a wedding, and this one but there's a big 60th birthday celebration of the dad thing where lots of things happen. There also the brother-in-law is instrumental in betraying that's why the Don gets shot. And here too the same thing happens, and there too Michael kills his brother-in-law, and here Ranbir kills his brother-in-law. And there too there's a scene where his sister hits out at him for killing her husband, and here too that kind of a thing. Now these are things that were you thinking of Godfather when you did these, or did these just accidentally happen?
This actually very organically happened because I saw Godfather some 30-40 times.
Yeah. So it's inside you.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Even even in Arjun and Kabir, they said there's a bit of Devdas. Maybe, I watched too many versions of Devdas, so maybe.
So that way it kind of thing, because even that car explosion, that's there in Godfather too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in a different context.
Definitely a different context.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure whether you were like, let's give a little homage to Godfather kind of a thing, or did it just come organically?
No, I didn't actually try to give homage, but I knew this party thing. It is a little similarities are there.
Right.
But sister thing, he didn't. Michael will never say. He's still quiet about it.
Yeah.
I thought like, but telling to sister was a little going overboard, but it went smooth. That scene was actually, ऐसा नहीं लगा कि it was unnecessary. I thought he's making a point. देख के होता है मोहब्बत,
Right.
प्यार देख के होता है, because I feel like, I know there's one point where you say there's unconditional love which is happening in Arjun and Kabir, but deep down you feel somewhere subconsciously you notice everything.
Right.
So I thought let's get that point also.
Yeah.
So
What is the reason you began with Ranbir at 60?
because keeping part 2, part 3 in mind.
Oh,
I
so you
thought-
were thinking about that?
Yeah, I thought like, maybe part 2, part 3, the old man is narrating, I thought it's nice way of opening the film with laughter, and he's saying a monkey joke.
Yeah.
Monkey is a kind of animal which has no control of, they say, don't behave like monkey. That means that most of the times you don't have a control on it. And out of all animals, the way you say monkey only, you'll feel something about it.
Yeah.
I don't know the way that you pronounce it or, So that's a very old joke from Karnataka. When I was studying physio, I heard this joke 20 years back. I don't know, it stayed with me. There was a time when in the college when somebody said, shh, they never used to turn back. Because you know what you're going to do. He's going to do that. So it was that famous joke. So, because the moment it's like 100 years of Swastik celebration, I thought like, it will not be like 3,000 people. It will be like only close people, 15 or 20 people. They're drunk till morning. And he's talking about his father. Cousins must have heard that story like 150 times. That's why they are like, fuck man, how many times you're going to narrate the same story to me? And he looks at everybody and he says like, okay, you don't want actually there's a dialogue, he says, tumko jazbaat nahi chahiye na, tumko entertainment chahiye. Chalo tumko ek Wagner ka joke batata hu. I thought like in the edit I don't need that dialogue also.
Yeah.
It is coming through his eyes so much that there's no need for me to use the dialogue.
Right.
Then he'll say, okay guys, I'll put the glass and I'll tell you a joke. Then everybody are laughing, he's just looking at them. He's looking at it in a way that, okay, you guys only need this.
Yeah, when they're laughing,
Yeah.
the camera goes in close to Ranbir,
yeah.
and at least I thought I saw a bit of sadness in his eyes.
Yes, I thought.
Right.
Because when you see father dying with leukemia in the climax, and you know that he's going to die, so you don't know how the death happened, right? So I thought like, you're 60-year-old and you're still feeling for father. That means that
Lovely. I didn't think of it that
yeah.
way. Yeah.
Because I've noticed my uncles and in my real life also to other people, people who lose parents at the age of 30s and 40s and who lose parents at the age of 60, the pain is not same. I don't know why. I find it very strange.
But is that monkey story also a kind of indication that we are still animals in some way and we are capable of change?
That is a straight inclination because we title animals, so it's talking about animal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We are not capable of change. That's the thing. We are basically animals.
Yeah, we are, because we have IQ and we have communication. We are on the top. Or else we would have ruled out,
Right. So, when you have these scenes like he's walking around naked like an animal, or he has a very territorial behavior towards his father, or when he's like, he tells his wife, let's make love in the open. Are these all things that came after you thought of him as an animal, or these are again scenes that you just did because they felt organic?
No, this is a feeling that it gives the animal, characteristic feature, like, So she's behaving like human. He's saying like, this is our private airstrip. Nobody's going to watch and all that. And I thought the idea of putting the bed on the runway itself is it's a different, and I don't know how many have noticed, we put at the edge of the takeoff point actually. Those blue lines of lights, too much of detail. I don't know that people have noticed. But I thought they're going to make love and it's a takeoff point, Symbolically, I want to say so many things. I don't know whether it conveyed or not, but yeah, that's the major idea. Is like, it's a very interesting idea and interesting thought also to talk with, in a newly married discussion. It's a very nice, cozy talk, and next day morning, suddenly it becomes about the father. So I want to show that difference also.
So after this, you have them, and then the plane, you said it symbolically, the story takes off and it almost hits the mountain, but he goes up. Then comes the most interesting screenplay decision that you make, which is the plane vanishes into the clouds, the clouds clear, and suddenly a car comes into the frame, and a bearded animal, that is the animal Ranbir. That's the post, animal Ranbir gets out. And suddenly he's going and killing his Jijaji. There is no context. Why did it occur to you that I want the sudden jump to this animal and then give the story of why he's killing the Jijaji.
Yeah, I just want to give a shock value because if he comes back from US and he's going to paint and get a fatty, it's again you're waiting. You're waiting on what's going to happen and you know what's going to happen. Audience are very smart. He knew what he's going to, because he said, "Aisa ek din aayega, is dono bhaiyon ko the end kar dunga main." We've established the rift very clearly. He tells the younger one saying, when she was getting married, I was bachcha tha, mere haath mein kuch nahi tha. I was not in a form to control things, but your marriage I'll control. So I thought, like, after this romance thing, I want to give call it cinematic high or a high with the masses, you know. That was a very deliberate attempt that, you know, I want the story to take off with a very high cinematic scene. Because when you're killing Jija, by then only few people, I knew half of the auditorium will be in shock, half the auditorium will be in like, what a scene. Because we are always rooting with the hero when it's a character-driven film. And if somebody upsets hero, you are not happy with that guy. So he's killing, and the way he got the power back from the point where the way he's talking to him, "Tune upset kar diya," he got the authority there. And from there, there's shift of authority, shift of so many things. And you see those gang walking inside the room, it looks very powerful.
Yeah.
And when we come back, and there's a normal domestic scene where Rashmika is coming and hugging, and we've shown some toys, kids are sleeping. If that's now, you know that, oh, now it's like 7-8 years ahead.
Yeah.
And suddenly, Papa, she comes, she says, "Didi, kya hua?" Then we go back to the story. It will be interesting. Or as I felt I never wanted a regular screenplay because we have seen this kind of stories.
Yeah, yeah.
Only a screenplay and the characterization will make it interesting.
Right.
नहीं तो like you'll see half of the film you are done. Interval में उठ के चले जाएंगे.
Yeah. You know, Ranbir takes so many slaps from his father and from his wife.
Yeah.
He never gets angry at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like he kind of,
I feel he's beyond that.
Okay.
Because he knew that he is playing with the strap. He knew that he's not supposed to do. He gets slapped, that's why he'll have a smirk on his face. You know that he's going overboard. But
right. So he's pulling that brass strap, why?
Because I felt, see, when you have a little sprain or a fracture or a small thing, one little putty, you get so irritated sometimes when things doesn't happen. Maybe your phone is not charging, also you get angry because you already have a splint. So much has happened with him. And father wants the cousins to live. And he's coming and shouting on the father saying that you don't trust me. And it's all chaos. The maid comes and says like she's signing. Obviously he doesn't want everybody to feel that he's deaf, so he threw the food. And he feels the Geetanjali should understand about this. And she puts a salt. And with the viscosity, actually dialogue is viscosity. He said viscosity ज़्यादा हो गया, thickness बोलते हैं.
Yeah.
Then he'll get angry. Like, fuck, so much is happening with me. You're putting salt in my food. In a very lighter way, he says like, इस बार गुस्सा आया तो salt and pepper में मत उतर, सीधा poison में रहता, किस्सा खत्म.
Yeah.
She's going and throwing the food. She's preparing another new bowl. But I feel for a man, it will hit you from inside. Like, fuck, wait, what has happened with me? She's putting salt in my food. That's why he's like, fuck, okay, now I'll play with you. And he says, may as well get out. And if you see, first one is like, in a very lighter way, he does that. Like, in a very romantic way, he does that. And after that, then, very clearly, you see when the camera comes front, you see Ranbir growing in the frame with a little different kind of angle. I don't know how to say or put it in words. He'll just bend like that and say, what were you talking to your mother? Knowing he knew that she will not talk anything ill about him, but he always have this strange feeling with her parents because they were never met.
Yeah.
Because there was a scene which was written, which I didn't shoot, was in the hospital the parents come to visit him. So he'll tell to Geetanjali, why your mother is giving me that kind of a look as though I am bedridden from 1 year. It's only 2 days, it's only 10 days. There should be hope. I don't see any hope in your mother's eyes. So from there we reach here, so I removed that, but I felt like since you try to hurt me, I'll try to hurt you.
Right.
So that's why I thought like, when he came, when he's leaning to her and talking to her, when he's pulling the pony, I thought like, what else he'll do? Maybe he'll, play with the strap. And
right. No, I'm saying this is also for many people, this kind of scene is a trigger point, right? Because it kind of...
Domestic violence.
domestic violence. Not, in a way, it's like you're psychologically aware of why. See, you're aware that this is a very imperfect character, but when you see them doing this thing, or when you see Ranbir talking about you have a big pelvis, that you have big hips, childbearing hips. One part of me is understanding the character and saying that yes, he is not like a normal guy. So he's going to behave like a crude animal, right? But another part of me is also like, oh my God, that's such a crude line. So tell me, when you put these scenes in, or even that scene where she takes off her top and she's standing in front of him and he's like, oh my God, you look so good for a mother of two. What's running through your mind when you put these scenes? Is it partly, again, shock value, or is it something else?
It's a surprise value, shock value, and see, when they had this thing in the school, high school, and after that they were never in touch, and he's trying to say what has happened in the past with his brother, with her brother, and with her he's saying about alpha, beta and all that, and he's saying if you are in that situation, bunch of Arvinds are alpha, she's saying alpha, but he's not saying, listen, we had this emotion in school, and I really love you. He was not able to say that. He's trying to come in a different route, explaining her, because it's the engagement day and they were not in touch, and suddenly, coming with that force and saying, hey, listen, Geetanjali, I really love you. What has happened between us. He can't say that, so he's trying to explain a theory which is related to his character also, the title also for the film. For the audience, when they're watching, it doesn't seem like what theory he's talking. It gives a feeling that ये character ऐसे बात करेगा शायद. That is what the information we are getting. And she walked away. And while he was talking, he didn't even realize when he kept his hand on the feet.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought of shooting while baat karte, like, he's just playing with the pedals of the flowers and he just put a hand on her feet. I wanted to shoot that, but I thought I'll not show it. Then I figured out on the shooting day itself, let's not show that. Let's give again a shock that the girl looks at me and says, I didn't even realize that you're touching my feet. You didn't even realize, matlab, for the girl's side, you're engrossed in the discussion. That's what I felt like. We'll convey that. And very sweetly, he'll remove the hand. And he also feeling that, maybe I cross a line of touching. He gives that look. And she also gives a little irritated look and she's walking away. I felt like she's walking away. He knew, agar usko abhi chhod diya, if without saying one more line, he knew that she's gone. So how should I say that I'm seeing future with you? I want to marry you. So I thought, like, in these situations, boys behave very differently sometimes. Your intention is something else, but you end up saying something else. So he didn't know what to say. Then, this was the brief given to Ranbir also. I said, like, suddenly you don't know what to say. He's like, Geetanjali, you got big pelvis. So he's like, you are fat. So he's giving a reason. He's saying that I'm seeing future with you, that, we'll get married and we'll have babies. So that, I thought that was a compliment. I never thought it's, you found it ugly?
No, see, one part of me understood that this guy is not a normal guy, right? It's like he's not going to tell, like he's not going to behave with anybody properly. Yeah. Leave alone men, women, everybody behaves this thing. But that line, because you have childbearing hips, it took me back to the medieval times when women used to be evaluated on like, they'll examine everything about a woman and see whether she's fit for marriage or kind of a thing, which doesn't happen anymore. True. So that's what was little, like, it made me wince a little.
Because he spoke about the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Right before into the discussion. I thought it's a continuous thing to say. And
that's what I say. So in the character, it fits. But when you're watching it, it makes you like go back a little and kind of a thing. So, but tell me this foot thing that you brought up, right? Again, in that Karwa Chauth scene, he's touching her feet. Yeah. When she gets out in Kashmir, he's very lovingly putting the winter boots on her naked feet. Yeah. When Zoya comes, he points to his foot and says, like kiss my boots if you really love me. Yeah. What is this thing with feet throughout the movie? It's like a...
No, I feel in a relationship, everybody has a way of, touching and cuddling and kissing.
And
everybody have
his feet.
Yeah, I thought like, I give this feet idea. I mean, like it's a, I don't know how to put it, but if you have the idea of, in few couples we see they hold hand and they kiss on the dorsum of the hand. and it's a kind of their thing in a relationship. So I thought touching the feet or holding the feet
Is his thing.
Yeah, I thought it will be, yeah. And coming to that, what you said about removing the top and saying that one, because I don't know how many people have noticed, out of 5 sense organs, 3 are gone.
Yeah.
Smell, taste, and hearing. So only touch and vision is left. So I thought that's the only thing which is working. So for that, I thought he'll ask her to do that, and he hugs, and so he's so out of shape. So he's in a way complimenting, saying, look at yourself. That I thought that's a way of complimenting in a
Like I'm
married
this fat
relationship.
guy
Yeah.
now, and father calls him a pig.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I thought like, there's a line actually, look at me and look at you. But I thought like, forget about look at me. Says, look at you, mother of 2 kids. And he signs it. I thought like, he's happy for her.
Yeah.
It's a nice compliment in a relationship after so much has happened.
Right.
Between the strap thing and all that.
Why did you have the maid at the corner of the frame?
Oh, I wanted because if you notice when he'll touch like that and he'll say like this, the mannerism also is like A B, because I didn't want to say that remove the top, and even when
She
Rashmika also,
understands.
when she'll drop the chunni like that, like I didn't want the chunni to remove and put it like that. It's like it's like one drop and one lift. It has to be like A B again. Then I thought like if she checking the surrounding, it's gone. The romance is gone. So I thought like forget about the surrounding. He wants me to do this, I'll do it for him. And there's a focus shift because of the same maid where she got scolding. So I thought like, well, it would be nice to shift on it to show that how they're unaware of the surroundings.
Right.
So I think I thought that will be nice as a see it like a romance.
Right. Right.
Forget about the world.
Right.
It's that kind of a feeling.
No, in the Sandeep Reddy Vanga world, the women are also a little, how do I put it, wacky. They are not doing the things that the women typically do. For example, in Arjun Reddy, when he comes and sleeps on her lap, actually there is, in this film too, there is this...
That's what I note, yeah.
This is again I was like, is this Sandeep echoing Arjun Reddy or what is he doing? It's like where he comes near, where the children are playing in the bathtub, and she says come, and then he Ranbir puts his head on Gitanjali's lap. So it's like a very similar scene to what Arjun Reddy does.
Yeah.
Another thing is, the women, you show them as the initiators of sex. In Arjun Reddy also, it's Preeti who initiates the kiss and then the lovemaking. It's not Arjun, even though he's kind of a thing. Whereas here also, there is a scene where she kind of wears the lingerie and comes, and she's like in this mood to make love, and she comes in front of him.
I never thought this.
You never thought this?
I never thought this. I swear, I never thought this. Yeah.
I'm like, why are these women?
Even this sleeping on the lap, I never thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
You never remembered the Arjun Reddy scene?
No, I'm surprised actually. Even this thought of, they tried first.
Yeah.
I never thought.
I thought this is something that you're doing deliberately because
No.
Because they are like initiating this thing, whereas the guy is like, he's like, I'm not in the mood. I'm kind of, this thing.
No, that thing, I didn't deliberately put the approach, but I wanted to get into, see what discussion they had in the flight. Other than, don't talk about my father like that, what do you mean? My father's a great father. Then that line, I want to show that this is a shift of discussion.
Yeah.
Hardly they spoke anything. And now suddenly you see there's a big argument happening. I thought that would be a nice dramatic quotient.
And it's very nice because there too, you're showing him as somebody who's so preoccupied with something else, because she says, I'll be ready like this. And she says, okay. She does this. And he's like, you don't want to make love to me anymore. And then she goes back inside. And then he follows her inside. And so in a way, she's kind of like, he follows her around. Like, it's
because
not like...
From the US, when you see people living in US, the kind of lifestyle they have, and when you come and stay in a house where the in-laws are there, it is not the same because women are very independent in US, especially Indian women. You ask any Indian, most of them, they don't want to come to India. They feel it's much independent space.
Right.
You come to I know it's a huge place, it's a palace kind of a house, but still in-laws staying and all, I felt like everything is a little in control now, you know. So I thought like maybe he must be busy with so much things happening around. So we are not showing that it's understood now in the
Right.
screenplay. So I thought like what will be the discussion between both of them?
Yeah.
Other than if not this, so a regular discussion will be very boring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they can't be talking about, oh, I'm so sorry about your dad or whatever.
yeah, because again I want to make it. You know, I don't know why we have come here. We are so happy in US. So I want that thing to happen so that I want to go back to the story. So when you have that pattern, so you have to place these things very rightly.
Right.
So we can't show any other thing other than that.
Right.
So,
Also,
but this is I never thought, the sleeping in the lab and all that.
so
I
you
have to be very careful now. I never thought actually, because even the poster also, unless somebody outside person said, oh, because they're saying specs, beard, the same poster they're saying. You know, like I didn't even thought about that. So I have to be really careful, seriously, because yeah. But when we were shooting, I was feeling like the way Rashmika calls him, come. I felt like she's calling a kid.
actually, even on Arjun Reddy, it plays like that because had she not, see, she's not like, oh God, this is so disgusting or something like that, right? She's actually calling a friend and saying, bring a blanket, and she's
Yeah.
like treating him like a baby.
Yeah, this
Here
is
also
little overboard. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is also a little, you know,
Yeah.
I was like,
This is okay. This is wife and husband, but that's like she's new in the college.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was a little overboard, but I thought like it will go well with the audience. You know, whoever is watching, you're like, okay, let's see what happens.
for me, I look at your women being as nuts as the men, and that's kind of, they're also kind of off. You know,
Yeah.
like they're not the regular women. They're like, they're little off. Which kind of, when I say off, it means like, for example, in Arjun Reddy, during that song, you know, that's when you really know that she's also like so extreme, because they're going somewhere, the motorbike accident happens, they fall down, and instead of like dusting off or checking themselves or whatever it is, they run towards each other when the, you know, like with all their wounds and bruises and blood and this and that. So I'm like, you guys are made for each other, you know, because both of you are so extreme. Here too, you get that feeling that only Rashmika can probably control Ranbir.
Yeah.
You know, there's nobody else who can, his father can't control him. None of the sisters or whatever it is. Only she has.
It's true. I gave a little hint in few areas where, you know, if you notice, she says like, don't do anything.
Yeah.
While taking the kid.
Yeah.
And even when he's sitting alone, she's giving him that constant look, saying like, see, we just left everything and we came and you don't even get to see your father. What's happening? That kind of a look is there already. And when the sister is talking also, she'll check Ranbir, whether he's reacting or not. Then she'll say, Didi, aapne bhi phone nahi kiya na.
Yeah.
So that was very, and Rashmika killed it, that you transform. And she did, I mean, it came very effortlessly. In the look also, we didn't try much.
Yeah.
Only through the dialogue and the way she's emoting, we saw that 6 years of difference in the relationship.
Let's talk about that big action block, right? In that open, because for me, the film, I don't like to talk about films in acts, in terms of acts, because it varies.
Even I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I never understood that.
Yeah. But in this film, I deliberately feel there are two acts. The first act, end of first act, he dies. And the beginning of second, and then he's resurrected. And then in a way, he loses everything. So it's like almost like two chapters of his life. You know, because that's how I saw this. And even the fight sequence is divided into 3 acts, right? The first time he fights with the
with the Marathi
gun,
song.
with a regular
with
gun.
The guns,
With the gun. The second act he fights with an axe.
Yeah.
And then the third act, that big made in India Atmanirbhar what do you call it?
Atmanirbhar Bharat. Oh, it's his line now.
No. What is that thing called? What do you call it? Like
that machine?
Yeah.
We can call it a war machine. Yeah.
A war machine. So that's the third act, right? What made you say, I just don't want one regular fight sequence. I want this scene divided into 3 acts with 3 different weapons.
Yes. That's a deliberate thing. We have divided with the music.
Yeah.
I wanted it to, like, you know, it's not ending. It's actually maybe the inspiration is from Kill Bill. In Kill Bill, if you remember one fight sequence, it's never ending.
Yeah.
I found it like I was very hooked to it. I saw it multiple times and it is holding my attention. I was like, itna lamba fight. Still,
It's about 20 minutes, right?
I think,
Yeah.
I think it's 20, 22 minutes, yeah. So I thought like, there will be group of people coming. I thought with the music and there's a dialogue in between, there's changing floors and, breaking the box. There's so many things happening like a scene. There's a discussion in between where the Freddy guy comes and gives a description.
That's terrific casting,
yeah.
by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Upendra Lamai.
He's a great actor.
I'm like, the casting was so bang on.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
and that tiger underwear.
Yeah, even that dialogue is his idea. Even
one?
that sound, tuk is making that sound, it's his idea. And Atmanirbhar Bharat line is that. He read the line, he said like, manufactured in Bangalore, made in Maharashtra, made in India. He said like, Sandeep, let's use this line, Atmanirbhar Bharat. I said like, superb, use it then. It was, there's a full, whistling and cheering in the theatre for that line.
Right. So you divided it as one.
Yeah.
And of course, the song happened then.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Arjun Valley, and it just became viral because of this.
Every bit of the film is viral.
Yeah.
Even you see so many people are partying, putting the glass. It's madness. Even we never thought at that level.
So this kind of said, you saw Kill Bill and said, let's also make a.
I thought I was surprised. Usually in our films, especially in our South films, few action episodes will be bored. Kitna karega tu karke. So that maybe happens because it's happening only in one particular area. There's no dialogue or there's no break in between. So when I first time saw Kill Bill that fight, I thought like very smartly done. It's like a scene. It's not an action episode. So that I don't know, that remained in me. I don't know because when in the few review writers said the Kill Bill action he must have inspired. Then I felt like, I saw it because when the first time I saw, I thought like, what a scene it was.
Yeah.
So, and being a Punjabi guy, I thought like with lots of money and attitude, I thought like he'll make a machine for himself,
Yeah.
So in the starting also we established that Freddy kab aane wala hai.
Yeah.
Kal parso aana chahiye and all that. They were leaning to that box they were eating. So we established properly from the first scene, even the underwear irritation and all that. So that there was going to extend away, so that planting was done properly, so that you will not feel suddenly kuch bhi ho raha hai because we are reaching to the interval.
Right.
So few films we see that reaching the climax, reaching the interval, they rush. So
what is that underwear irritation scene?
My brother, who's a producer on this film, he lives in US. For this film, he came back and he's doing to and fro. He's shuttling between US and Bombay.
He produced Arjun Reddy as well, right?
Yes. So he always used to say, what is the problem in India? The detergents, the texture is going wrong. I used to think what he's saying is true because the detergent and the water, they use softeners also for the water. That all there, but we don't have it in India. So मुझे लगता था कि yes, this is something wrong with the detergents of water. So that remained in me when he complained, when he was saying this like long back, 15 years back. So I thought like, let's put this idea and, like you pull up your socks, tighten your balls when you're going for a fight. So I thought like this guy taking that guy's underwear, putting it, a camera going like that, the drum sound with the Marathi song, I thought like it will be fully entertaining, moment. So,
and Tiger.
And Tiger, Triple X Tiger. So we only designed that brand. And we used the Tiger sound also on it.
Right.
So, so it is purely for fun and,
Yeah, it is mad.
Yeah, it is,
It's like, why are all those people dressed in wearing animal masks? Because I understand Ranbir is an animal.
Yeah. I wanted to get a little different, flashy, different effect on it.
Okay.
And one more thing, what I majorly thought was, whoever the fighters are, whichever film you see, the fighters are same.
Right.
Have you noticed?
Yeah.
I can't cast fighters. See, in the film, in the 60th birthday party, in the classroom scene when Ranbir picked the rifle, I chose every junior artist by photographs. I have casted literally one by one. Like, I want the junior artists also to look in a specific pattern and look. So, I can't cast fighters. Fighters are fighters.
You see the same action guys. Actually, I've seen that even the dancers, you see the
Bachpan,
same.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to notice, especially in Venkatesh songs, there used to be one guy who is there for 7-8 years,
Yeah.
for almost
They're
35,
all
40 songs.
the frontline dancers, you know
Yeah.
all the faces. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Even the fighters, we know a lot of them. They'll be in Dabang, they'll be in Chennai Silks film, they'll be in Rajni Silks film, and suddenly they'll be in a small set of film also, like a 4 crore film also they'll be there. So I thought like how to hide them. And this is a film which is happening in Delhi, so, and that too, you know that somebody is attacking from a different country. He's hiring people no matter in India, but he'll not hire the same faces, right? The moment you see the fighter's face, I felt like you lose the realness of it.
Right.
The authenticity of it. So I thought like how to do that. I thought like, well, let's cover. Let's put monkey caps. The idea was a monkey cap first. I thought monkey cap is regular. Let's make animal mask. Title is animal. So I told to Suresh, and Suresh got it designed. And it took a while. We actually थोड़ा time दिया इसके लिए, right? We have pushed the this interval for another 20-25 days because the masks were getting ready. Because I was thinking like I definitely feel it wouldn't have worked the way it is working now if I show the faces.
Yeah. The fact that they are anonymous makes it a little more scary in a way. It's like
Scary,
a little
and
robotic.
you don't know, because face, you know the expression.
Yeah.
With the acts and all, you see the expression. But
This
when
is like some almost
everybody
like
has the same
robots are-
expression.
Yeah.
You know, when they're turning and when it's doing this calling, it looked very scary because you don't see them.
Yeah.
Like a Joker mask. So I thought it's best for the film.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Or else you'll see, if you have faces also now, you'll feel like kitne logon ko marega.
Right.
There's no expression, the people who are dying, no? So you didn't really feel bus karo bhai fight. Actually, it helped the length of the fight. Yeah.
Again, I don't know if this is intentional or you're going to say, I didn't think of it, but all your bad boy heroes, they're high achievers. One is a super surgeon, one is a spacecraft engineer in Animal. What is that?
I don't know.
It's just a profession that you think of.
I think maybe I want my heroes to do best everything they're doing. I don't want... I don't know. I never thought also, actually.
Okay.
The topper of the college, topper of the university, I never thought.
Yeah.
It just came while I was typing the dialogue. I don't know.
So that's what it's like. It's a flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes from the unconscious.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Basically, maybe I love to deal with smart guys, maybe.
Right.
You know?
Like messed up smart guys. There are some lines in your films, like here there's a line that happiness is a choice.
Happiness is a decision.
A decision, yes.
Yeah.
In Arjun Reddy, there's this lovely line that
Suffering
says,
is personal.
it's not the suffering is personal. That's one thing. But it's also there's this lovely line that Arjun's dad says.
Now the
which he
flashback
says,
that hurts.
Yeah, it's not the goodbyes that hurt, it's the flashbacks that follow.
Yeah.
These are your lines. Or are they like things you've read long back?
I heard somewhere, must have heard. But suffering is personal, happiness is a decision. I felt it.
Right.
I felt and I wrote, but that line I read somewhere.
Basically, I'm asking, are these your philosophies?
I believe in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely believe happiness is a decision.
Yeah.
It comes within us only. And if you really want the environment should not affect you, you can be happy always.
Right. Tell me about the timing decision for two things. One is where the title animal appears.
Yeah.
And two is when the hero reveals his name.
Yeah.
These are two very specific decisions that you've taken.
Yes.
Why did you say, I want this at this point and I want that at that point?
So actually, when I was thinking how the film is going to begin, I didn't find a point where I have to put title.
Right.
Or else it will feel like, okay, now everybody know that you're coming and watching Animal. Why I should push saying that, okay, now see the title. I didn't find a space, first thing. Another thing, I felt it will be so cool playing that orchestra kind of a music after killing and the eating, and quietly it will settle with like a stencil, and with a gunshot the gold is filled. I thought like that's a very powerful image because people clapped at that point.
Yeah.
I
thought I was like dreaming because suddenly some special effect kind of thing started coming.
That all
it started
slowly
circling
it fades in, the circle, outer
yeah,
circle,
yeah.
and the inner circle.
Yeah.
So I thought that will be a nice way of presenting the title. And name, because every time because he loves his father so much, I always wanted him to say, "Main Balbir Singh ka beta hu." And even in the press, they say that the first time we are hearing a third generation entrepreneur, not willing to take his name, calls himself Balbir Singh ka beta. I don't know how much it is heard while he was going to pin. So when it comes, and even when he says to his Rashmika's brother, जब सब होते हैं भैया बोलते, जब कोई नहीं होता नाम से पुकारते. All the time when you're saying name and all that, audience will feel, इसका नाम क्या है? I think that's a way of holding attention on a different aspect.
Right.
With the story, drama, music, everything, there's another line I thought which will be nice for the audience to hold it and give it at a point where, you feel with that BGM when he holds down and saying, like, "Mera naam ye hai," the echo. I thought, like, that's where, I thought it's a very, cinematic high. As per the character also, I feel like it's a nice reveal.
Yeah.
Because we given like 3-4 situations where you feel, even the cousins saying, "Veere kab aaya?" Like, bhai, where you. So, naam, even the father also never calls him Vijay in the climax. Only Rashmika says, "Vijay, I'm leaving you."
Yeah.
Vijay, when he stops him, "Mera galti ho gaya, beta." Only twice we hear his name, that too in the climax.
Yeah.
And throughout, I maintained in the dialogue that nobody calls him with the name.
Right.
So I thought that's a nice way of people thinking while you're watching the film. That's a nice way to make the audience think.
Right. Okay. Now comes one of my favorite things in the movie, the doubling. When Anil does not come home on his birthday, Anil Kapoor does not come home on his birthday, the child, Ranbir, goes to his mother and asks, she says, "Your dad is so busy, we'll have to clone him."
Yeah.
But he says, not clone, make a body double. Later, he actually makes a body double of his father.
Yeah.
And much later, somebody makes a body double of him, of Ranbir, at the end, right?
Yeah.
There's this other thing where Abrar's wife gives birth to identical twins.
Yeah.
Like that's what they say, right, at the middle of the fight.
Yeah.
What is this constant doubling going on?
No, because this is deliberate. Like, as you asked, you wantonly do it or it's unknowingly. It's very deliberate because one thing I felt like 4th standard ladki ko cloning or body double samajh mein aata hai. That's always a thing to ask. But I thought, like, it's okay. Maybe he understood that.
Probably he's a super smart guy or something like that. Yeah.
So maybe he's understood cloning at that point in 90s. So I thought we'll give the idea of body double and hit it, which is a nice planting and payoff.
Yeah.
And in the climax, because see, he's abused. See, Bobby Deol's marriage and everything is actually domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Marital rape, call it anything, but when you see, they are not willing to reveal the details about where he has gone. I found very fascinating when I was thinking about the scene that he's, ill-treating is a small word to say, but they are giving him that respect and all that. Even she's having the labor pains, she's not willing to take, where he has gone. So I thought when the cousins come, because they are loaded guns in the flight and they're going to kill. And why this fist fight is happening? Why don't you shoot? You have 12 people and there are 4 people. That's what the royal comes and says, "Kya chal raha hai?" And he says, like, 2 घंटे से एक दूसरे को तोड़ रहे. Then he'll say, like, "तो उस औरत को 2 बच्चे." I said, when he says that, for the effect of it, I did. It's like that woman has delivered a baby boy. Instead of saying twins, identical twins, there's an emotion to it when you say it.
Yeah.
And Bobby doesn't know about that. So while I was making it, editing it, for me, emotionally, there's a shift towards Bobby. I actually shifted while I was editing. I was like, why you're killing him? I got that feeling. And most of the audience also felt.
Yeah.
I've spoken to a lot of people, they felt that for a moment we are on the Bobby side.
Yeah.
Because of this aspect. Because if you see, revenge is revenge, end of the day. He also wants to, emotion is same. You're doing for your father, he's doing for his grandfather. So, yeah. So I thought, like, when you say identical twins, I felt like it is doubled, the emotion is doubled.
Yeah.
2 kids are going to be orphaned now.
Right.
There's another 8 kids. So it will be like, you are worried about your father, 1 son. Imagine there are 8 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't know what's going to happen. That's what Suresh ji will tell grandfather. ये महाभारत कभी खत्म नहीं होने वाला. You just forget about this right away here.
Yeah.
Then he says, like, मैं मारता हूँ आप माफिया आप देना, something like that.
Actually, that's when I got the idea that there's probably going to be a sequel, because when he said "Kabhi khatam nahi hoga," I was like, okay, this looks like something that's going to continue.
Yeah.
But that's amazing because you set up when Ranbir is a kid, the point of the body double, the payoff comes at a very unexpected point.
Yeah.
When the dad is shot
Yeah.
and he creates this
Yeah.
this body double.
Yeah.
And that's like seriously
Yeah.
thing. Now again, you could have, without the setup itself, you could have still had, say, I'm creating a body double, because everything is extreme, anything is possible.
Yeah, yeah.
So he could have still done that.
Yeah.
What made you say, I want to set it up then,
Set it
as a
up.
child? Set up this body double concept as when the child is still there.
Yeah, I just wanted to, show that he's a smart kid. He's able to gauge that, that, okay, father's a busy man, I'm okay with it.
Right.
Because the way he's emoting also, no matter what, Papa jaisa koi nahi. His mother is shocked. The way he's saying, cloning to nahi hoga, bird double kar sakte. Cloning karne mein time lagega. She's like, what detail he's getting? मैं तो ऐसे ही cheer up करने के लिए बताई थी, but he's going to deep detail. And Kattu is going to the factory.
Right.
So I thought that just to give that, strong intention and give that smartness thing. And it's nice to know that it's unfolding and it's planting and paying off.
Yeah. Plant and
Yeah.
payoff is
Yeah.
really like at the most unexpected moment.
Yeah.
So that's what really works.
Yeah.
Like the other doubling is there's this twice it comes like is janam mein aap papa main beta, and then agle janam mein we'll reverse it, and then the next janam finally you will learn from this janam and you will become the ideal papa and I will become the ideal beta. Tell me that janam ka, you're saying that this will always happen, like never end.
See, there's a way of explaining, Papa, agle janam hota na, tab aisa hoga na. When you say it, when you talk in a way, if at all you're a little mad on that topic, you say hoga, hota. You say it in such a way when it happens.
If
Is always there,
Yeah.
but there is no if in this. If you notice in the line, Papa, agle janam mein aap mera beta banna. Papa, agle janam mein na, Papa, aap mera beta. वैसा नहीं है dialogue. So I felt while I was removing the ifs in the dialogue, I felt like it's very new. He's so sure. The surety of having a janam is showing that the vast love, how much he loves his father, to what extent.
Right.
Shows that it's a little, very stupid to say like agle janam, what nonsense you're saying. Nobody knows what happens agle janam. But in a very, very poetic way, you are so sure of 3-4 lives. So that shows that depth of a relationship. That's why I used as a first publicity thing to say like what this story is going to be.
Right.
Like 2 years back, we left an audio teaser saying these lines are the audio teaser. So just give an idea to the audience that it's a story about father and son.
Yeah. For me, the most interesting visual in the film is you go to an extreme close-up of Ranbir with a beard and, like there. Then it's almost like a screen lifts. And like if you stop halfway, you see a beard, you still see Ranbir here. And then when the screen fully lifts, you see it's actually Bobby.
Yeah.
One, did you cast Bobby because he kind of looked like Ranbir? I don't know. I'm just like asking. It's
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just an inspired bit of casting. That's it. It's just you
Yeah,
thought,
yeah.
why not Bobby Deol?
Yeah. I saw one of the picture, the CCL ka,
Okay.
Celebrity Cricket League. He was holding a water bottle and looking into the ground. I really loved the expression. I showed
Right.
it to Bobby sir also.
Right.
So this is the reason I've come here, showing the picture.
Right.
So yeah, that's I always wanted, like, I want the audience to wait, sees, how the health is going down, and wait to a point where maybe he's imagining things. There's nobody. Actually, I didn't want to open in the casting that there's Bobby Deol in the film. This thing, for me, I felt I'll not let the world know that there's Bobby Deol in the film. But today's thing, it's very hard to hide.
Yeah.
When you're not hiding, then let's put a poster also, because I want my villain to be revealed. Oh fuck, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I couldn't give that because आज इतना digital information hai, we can't hide things only unless you do it in a studio completely.
But the beautiful thing about that is it positions them as like almost like twins, like two sides of the same coin.
And when you're saying brothers, so all this was in mind, but still it worked. Because when I was writing, I thought nobody knows this is Bobby Deol in the film.
Yeah.
And I'll open like that. And the high will be 4-5 times than what is it now in the theatre. But still it worked.
Yeah.
Because my fear was that only.
Yeah.
Because when I was shooting, the idea was that, but by the time I reached to the location and it's out. Even in the audio teaser also, I was thinking whether to put Bobby Deol's name or not. But I thought like if you hide today, anyways it's going to, people will know that he's there. So let's use his name.
Right. And another thing is, this guy cannot hear, that guy cannot speak. That again was
because there's one line actually when Tripti confuses to him, and when he says like I knew the day one you are, though she actually she'll curse him. It's a lengthy dialogue. I removed it. Although I didn't shoot only. She'll say like what's the there's no much difference between you and your brother. The difference is like he's mute and you're deaf. It will come in a very powerful way when she's saying, I thought like let's not use this. We'll use in the climax because so much of punching is happening, so obviously it goes away.
Yeah.
So he's trying to talk and his brother will say, and his brother will say. I knew that people will laugh. I felt for a while that jab hasenge, the emotion might come down. But the music is so high, so nice, those lyrics are. So it was holding. They are laughing at the same time, they are like into the emotion of the,
Actually, I wasn't laughing. I was actually very moved because that's one of the rare times, I don't know if I've ever seen a fight scene where you have such an emotional song happening. Usually you have, again, that's the music cues that you give, right? They're very off, very off the beaten track. So sometimes it takes us a while to process because we're used to, like I said, sad scene means violent, happy scene means this. But here it's a fight. You're not going like full on, electric guitar or whatever it is to rouse the emotion. You're making it sound like a very emotional event that's happening.
Yeah, even
like,
there's a chorus.
There's a chorus. Yeah. How did you decide that was going to be a very emotional moment?
So day one, I was having this idea that when the hero and the villain comes into the picture, the first time looking at each other, and if you see Ranbir we'll be seeing like, oh, this guy. This is what I was waiting for. He gives that. So I wanted like, in the climax when the lovers meet, there's always, like a symphony kind of a music is playing. I thought, why don't we use it for the hero and villain?
Yeah.
And it's a Punjabi song and it's saying about relationships, about father predominantly. So I thought, sorry, that will work. Even that's why because I was playing in my phone, it's playing like that, and I was watching in the monitor. And there's another speaker also which is playing for the actors. So I was very keen. We were very close tights when Bobby sir is coming on and Ranbir is coming on, and they're looking at each other and walking towards like that. It's an old scene. We've seen in hundreds of films. Shirt utar ke marna. But I thought that song and that placement, and in between they're talking, he's stopping the cousins and he's stopping his brothers. That equally we want to fight, and the ethics was same from both the sides. So, and villain is not playing dirty. He also have that equally thing like I'm going to take him down. So all that worked.
And in the middle you're getting that information about identical twins.
And when they're exhausted and smoking also. All that really worked. It was very...
Is it true that you wanted a kiss to happen between Ranbir and Bobby?
Actually there's a kiss. He'll kiss.
Who will kiss?
Bobby will kiss Ranbir.
Okay.
But it was superb while he's shooting.
What kind of kiss is it?
He'll kiss on the cheek when he says like, "Bhai, I didn't even spend one day with my father. You say you're leaving it, and I'm going to leave you." And he's convincing him, and he'll come and kiss on the cheek, and he'll go back and he'll open the zip. So that it was nice, but with the music and with the intercut.
Before he lowers the zip.
Okay.
Okay.
I felt like kiss is diluting the zip. So I thought, why I removed it? Because Bobby sir expression diya, he just gives a smirk like that and you see a tears going. I felt that is more bigger cinematic high than coming and kissing. So I thought like I got through that tears rolling and that smirk he gives. What you're saying, fucker, you did so much to my brothers and now you're saying forgive me, I'll go away. It's not going to happen. So when he's still talking, he'll take 2 steps back and he'll open the zip. And then Ranvijay figures out that, he's not going to keep quiet now.
Yeah. And I like that zip moment because it again goes back to the monkey story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like everyone's this equal animal out there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
like they're all behaving the same way.
There is a clear indication that villain is putting the zip is saying like that. So sometimes the entire heroism might die in the climax.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? But the way Ranbir looks at it like that, and even he's having tears and he removes the cap of the knife. It really went. The way he's taking the turn, the nice sunset is happening.
Yeah.
All that really helped the scene. Like
Right,
superb.
right. There is one thing I'm very curious about. Again, between Arjun Reddy and here, in Arjun Reddy, you opening scene is that two people by the sea, but when the grandmother starts talking, you have a Bhagavad Gita Sanskrit shloka
Yeah.
that talks about time.
Yeah,
right? In Kabir Singh, it's a Kabir Doha,
Yeah.
which talks about time. Here again, there's in
Time will
Animal,
tell.
there's Bura Jo Dekhan Main Chala.
Yeah.
There is again that Kabir Doha at that point where the fight is
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Tell me about these bits of ancient philosophy that you put into your movies.
Because Siddharth Garima wrote dialogues for
Right.
Kabir Singh. So Siddharth understands Telugu. So the kind of Bhagavad Gita thing I used, and now it's titled Kabir Singh. So it's their idea that we'll use Kabir ke dohe in the beginning and the end. It will go with the title also. But in Animal, it's not deliberate. I don't know how, because I always wanted to. Me and Saurabh thought like, he's the bigger bad guy than everybody.
Yeah, he's saying basically, I looked inside myself and there was no one worse than me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So why is he telling it that at that point?
Because you bought the machine out and you are like, they're flying like ants,
Right.
So I thought before getting there, I think this line will work with that smoky effect, that yellow light.
Right.
So yeah, initially we thought we'll use it in the corridor before firing. Then after that, we used it there.
So another, not lines, but bit of music that you use is like when Arjun Reddy sees Preeti for the first time, you use a song that's a goddess song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In
Sumana Savandita.
Sumana Savandita.
Yeah.
So when Ranbir sees Gitanjali, you use Roja Janeman. That's Kadal Roja Ve, that thing is. It's like a love song to a woman, placing her on a pedestal, right?
Yeah.
What is that introducing the girl with that song?
Yeah, it is not a deliberate thing, but thing is, big fan of Rahman sir work.
Yeah.
Especially Roja, Bombay and all that. And I want it to sound very real because they are partying in the ground floor. And on the top of the roof, there's a engagement happening. So more than the background score, I wanted to use on the atmospheric sounds, 4D background sounds.
Right.
Sounded very real. Then I thought let's use this Rahman sir song because the Triori band who created this song, they were in Arjun Reddy audio function.
Okay.
Who came and they're playing the band.
Okay.
Before the crowd, started walking and sitting. So they were playing few tracks. I was like, who are these guys? Since then, I was in touch with them. I was watching their videos. So then I found this Zahra Rahman song and then I contacted them. I said, I want to use this as an introduction from the bike. I started in the classroom itself.
Yeah.
Time batayega.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of using a sound in a particular place and you come to the nucleus where it actually started. I like that idea. I don't know why, but it's not deliberate that I want to use music when I'm introducing the heroine.
Right.
The idea was to be very real.
That's my question because you made only 2 films, so but because it's happening, I'm asking. So,
No, it's okay because I wanted it to be more real, more realistic.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only idea.
Right.
And it's such a famous track. I thought immediately you are into the story.
Yeah.
That music will help 4 or 5 times more than a regular. If I would have asked Rameshwar to give a background score, it wouldn't have worked the way it is working with Roja song because the nostalgia always helps. Yeah.
And it's plus set in that time and.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to kill me for this, but again, in both your films, there's an intercaste marriage.
Yeah. Okay.
You didn't notice this either.
Yeah. Intercaste, the interstate intercaste. Yeah. Okay.
It's not a signature.
No, I mean.
It just happened.
Yeah, because Because I see a lot of Telugu and Tamil families settled in Delhi.
Right.
So,
It just,
yeah. Maybe I like seeing region marriage, intercaste marriage.
I mean, one of the biggest highs in the movie is when they're sitting in front of her family and they don't say anything but they kiss.
Yeah.
And the music of Hua Main starts, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the prelude of Hua Main
Yeah,
starts.
yeah.
And then that wonderful electric guitar, that sound goes, it's such a wonderful rock song.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you kind of take off into that zone. I want to know, why did you choose, like, why did you and your composer choose that to be a rock kind of, like,
Because there's a recklessness
energy?
in it.
Because?
There is a recklessness in the rock.
Because it could have been a melody song also, right?
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
You feel it's you voicing out your rage, and it's
They're
very
being rebels.
Yeah, it gives a very young feeling. They're very there is a bit of negligence also in that. You know, this is what we are. You know, so I thought, like, after coming from such a big drama of what's happened between him and his father, 60th birthday, Jija, sister, everything. After we see what he has done in the school, I felt like he should not explain himself. I wantedly made him sit in such a way that he heard a lot from them. But we as audience, we are only listening a little end part of it.
Yeah.
Sharam karo, kal tak bhaiya bhaiya bolti thi. I just wanted that to happen. The brief was like, you're hearing this from 10 minutes. You understood that they are not going to understand whatever we try to explain them. So let's give them, that most unexpected thing to see. After that, there's no talk.
Yeah.
How to shed them.
Yeah.
Please don't talk like that. We are really in love from the childhood. He'll never say that. Even the girl also will never, maybe, because he's stern on it. So I thought this is a nice, it's a nice takeoff point from there.
So when you guys sat down to compose, you knew it was going to be a rock song.
Yes. When because Preetham sir composed it, when I briefed him also, I said, like, I want it to be like that. I wanted to have those, that passionate voices in between when this guitar and this is happening. Because I told him the scene, this is what it will be in the flight and all that.
Right.
It will be reveling in front of the parents and going away. In a way, it's not running away, but very elegantly getting up and walking out, So I explained him, and this happened in the pandemic, actually.
Yeah.
This brief happened in the Zoom call, and
Right. And then it's like they're on the ground, next minute in the sky.
Yeah.
It's like one straight,
Yeah. So, you say soulmates, and when you're in the flight, you always say that, so many souls on the board. There's a little symbolism in that. I don't know how many people understood it.
Right.
I thought this was a brief for Preetham sir, when I narrated him.
You have a very good sense of music yourself, or do you explain very well what you want? Are you so specific? Because every single song that you've had has really worked.
Yeah.
In this, nobody knew what Jamal Kudu was, and it's like it's now viral.
Yeah.
Arjun Meli, nobody like that's become a thing. Like, is this all?
No, because I listen to a lot of music.
Right.
I can't imagine myself without music. Even I can't write a scene without music and sound, at least. At least I have to know.
When you're writing, you play something all the time?
No, I have to know, like, what kind of a music in the background, or if not music, what is the atmospheric sound.
Okay.
Whether it is set in a low roof house or the high roof. I don't know why. It's a pain, actually, because it will stop your writing if you don't get that clarity. And so what I have inculcated the habit after, doing some short films in Australia in my film school, whenever I'm writing a screenplay, I have a mood material. Like, if even in Arjun I collect some photographs, random photographs which I think I can see Arjun Reddy in it. I collect few photographs, I collect some music pieces. A writing job is like self-motivation.
Yeah.
You have to be motivated all the time. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Because if 1 week you write, after that you might lose interest. So to keep yourself motivated on the subject point, I collect some audio and some photographs. So like that, I collected a lot of music for Animal. I started collecting during Kabir only. I'm shooting Kabir, but something if I see, I feel like it's going to, for my next film, I immediately take it and put it in, save it in the computer or a phone. So this song, this is a Persian song, I selected it like 4.5 years back. So randomly one day in between the shoot, I visited my folder, my mood material of Animal. And I was scrolling up, I found one music piece. I said, like, wow, this is what I thought for Bobby Deol's introduction. Then luckily we got the permission and we redid it a little, remastered kind of a thing we did. and we use it, it's working. Because sometimes when you're deeply involved in the story, you know very well whether you want a real sunlight or you want, you know, just an afternoon light or a morning light. It's just a feeling.
Yeah.
There's purely no calculation, it's purely feeling. And that's how it happened. And maybe I listen to a lot of music and specifically I'll tell them this is what I wanted. I think that's why every time, every song, every BGM is standing out, because I'm very clear with what sound I wanted. So.
Right, right. And you're also trying to break the cliche of the...
Because, you know, if you remember when the father and son discussion is happening, there's a siren I used when he says, "Oh, haath uta lo, papa, main chala jaunga jail." Seeing at the 15-year-old's rage, saying that he'll go to jail. There's one siren I used where Anilji will be going back like that. That siren and the movement in the frame is in the sync.
Yeah.
It sounded like what a piece of thing, you know, music is playing at that point. So even when, even the theme, the whistle theme I use with that, you know, I use it like, I know how to what do you call that instrument? Zun, 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 that will come like that whistle theme. Papa's theme, I use it like a rage thing now, you know.
Yeah.
So like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm very specific maybe, that's the reason, yeah.
Right, right. Why did you want to make Abrar a Muslim?
See, I thought, I'll tell you, because I feel, I've seen people when they hit to a zone of zero confidence, people will come and, you know, say that go to the church or go to some Baba, he'll give you some tabis, change your name, things will work for you. Things like that happen. I've seen people changing their religion because so much has happened to them
they
that
get into
in
a
a
low
way,
point
yeah, in a low point, they feel like it's a new birth. The change of identity completely. So I felt when the other grandfathers kicked out of swastik, I thought he's done. Somebody must have suggested him. So I thought, like, we see a lot of people converting into Islam and Christianity. We never see anybody converting to Hinduism.
Yeah.
So we see a lot happening in the surroundings. So I thought, like, I'll use this because in Islam there's multiple times you can get married. So I can have multiple cousins with different faces. The drama will be bigger. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, you know, okay, you're a Muslim, I can show you, a bad light, or I can show it like a villain. Yeah, because few people are writing, you know, like why you made Muslim as a villain.
No, I was just curious because
like
you have a
that,
Sikh protagonist or a Punjabi and then I was just curious about the line because just like I'm curious about why they go to church, that scene with the church, it's like...
because when things like that happen, people suggest, like, you know, that's what I said, now go to that Baba, go to this church. And even that homam which is happening, it's purely South Indian thing.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, you know, when somebody is sick at home, you try to seek blessings or speak spiritual things like, from every possible religion. So it depends on what kind of a family. You're strictly, you don't want to see any other religion, then you'll only stick to Hinduism.
Right.
So I thought, like, a father is like an open guy. So I thought, like, okay, let's go to church, let's go to there, here, there. So that's the reason I used church.
Like somehow let's cure this guy.
Yeah, like homam happened, immediately church happened, everything is happening, and that's why you see Anilji is looking at him and saying amen, amen, and all that, you know.
Yeah. No, and also that homam, there's a nice touch because Rashmika is familiar with that that concept.
That's what, because
that's
there's one line
saying, hold this, do this, do that.
There's one line the cousin says, like, ये क्या चल रहा है? मतलब भाभी तेलुगु है ना, so उनके हिसाब से कुछ हो रहा है.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, there's no need of that dialogue. So I chopped it in the edit. I thought, like, it's understood the way she's asking him to do. It's understood.
Yeah.
Why to say it again?
She's familiar with that world. Yeah.
So. And the rest of them were just standing. Even Anilji is there, but you don't know the ritual, how it works.
Yeah. Why does he tell Gitanjali, like, if I die, don't remarry?
I see, in a relationship, sometimes, you know, most of the times I feel in relationships you are done. The rest will be a habit. Multiple partners could be a habit. Once you are with one person, the share of love with that particular person, you are done for the life. You know, that could be the exchange between Gitanjali and Ranvijay. And knowing the psyche of Gitanjali, there's so many things in a relationship which is unsaid. So you must have felt that you can't make it with anybody else. So you better remain single. So because knowing her mother and parents, they might suggest to you, if I don't come back, that okay, now what happened is happened. After 2-3 years, they come and tell you that no, let's get married. and he doesn't want his kids to be seeing Geetanjali with another father. Maybe that's his thought.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with a generalized feeling. It's purely personal.
Yeah.
So I know that because people looked at, especially the pseudo-feminists looked at it saying, oh, he can go and sleep with another woman, but he doesn't want her to, marry again. I found it very funny, but because I'll tell you, to an extent, they felt like, oh, why is he introducing Preeti in a white costume? Because he wants everything to be fair, but this fellow is, I don't know, that this angle of how they dissect your film is gone from Arjun to kuch nahi tha. From Kabir to now in these 4 years, the meter has gone up somewhere. Like it's too toxic now.
No, it's also, I think these are the very unique things that make the films extreme. Because like you say, the drama comes from the fact that you're pushing the material, right? And I was like, one of the things that I really like about your films is that they kind of really push you, provoke you, shock you, they move you, they do everything. Like usually when you see a love story, for instance, you're like, I want to be moved. But you're giving like all these other like things. You're kind of like this is one big thali of emotions that you're giving, and I'm not prepared for it. Like because it's like watching somebody without a filter, you know. Like that's refreshing because usually people always like look through a film with or a character with just one gaze, and here you're like you're just like, I'm going to do what feels right at that moment for that character rather than like try to do this whole thing in a certain way. And I think that's very refreshing to watch in a film. To have a villain, for instance, for just 20 minutes, I think it's unheard of, because it's like usually what the traditional way of thing is, you introduce the hero, maybe either you introduce the villain or you wait for like something interval point or maybe midway somewhere, so that people know that okay, there is an antagonist that is going to kind of a thing. But here he kills his brother-in-law. At that point you introduce the villain's brother. We don't even know who that chap is. When he dies, there's a phone call, and that is when the brother dies, there's a phone call, and then you realize, oh, there's somebody else. And then there is this explanation about the family, and then the villain is revealed, the actual villain. It's like it's a very different way of writing. That's what I'm talking about.
And thinking that audience are with you is one very scary ride. If they lose 1 or 2 bits, they'll not follow.
But what is this conviction that you have, Sandeep? It's like you're doing everything against like what is usually done. Like, what is this conviction that you have? How do you get this conviction?
Because we are very clearly, I'm very clearly underlining things.
Right.
Which it's not easy that you will not notice it.
Right.
You have to notice it. You're making it very thickly underlined, everything. That is one thing. Another thing is, I don't know the other way.
Right.
The other way bores me. The thing is, if I don't make the flight go up like that, see all that mountain, all that CG things, so many 100 meetings with that, just to give that high of a takeoff in a story. Then what way would be to jump into a screenplay like just putting after 8 years? It's so boring. It's because when you see like, oh, where this is going, and suddenly you see a Range Rover, and suddenly this, I'm not giving time to you to think.
Yeah.
So I feel very much I'm holding the attention. So I thought like all this snippets, what you said, phone call, brother, ye, wo, reveal hoga, I thought they are always with me.
Right.
So, but at the same time, sometimes you feel, what if they don't really bother about your storytelling? Then you're dead. I used to get this feeling in Arjun also. Why I have to look at your story? Why is he pissing you in pants? But theek hai na, ek ladki gayi to gayi. You move on with your life. What if audience think like that? But the whole idea of making a film is to, I'm going on a ride, just follow me throughout the ride.
Yeah.
That's what a strong screenplay is always.
Right.
That's a challenge, and that's the only way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Zoya character. Again, because you don't explain every little bit in your movie, but just give enough hints. There is this with Gitanjali, she's shown in a very, like almost like a very chaste, virtuous manner. Like even after the lovemaking or whatever, she's coming in a sari, like a bridal sari kind of a thing, and all these kind of things. Whereas with Zoya, you actually see her like naked, and he's resting on her hips. So that image, how did you like conceive that image that you want to show a
The
180
difference.
degrees difference?
Yes, yes. I want to show the difference, and one more thing is uh, obviously there's a little nudity in it, but I didn't want it to sound sleaze. I want the audience to see like to what happened. Why is he going to that extent? Like, because the way they come close, and cut to, I want that shot actually.
Yeah.
Then when I saw in the edit, it's not working. Then I use the kissing shot. थोड़ा तो warm up दिखाएंगे नहीं तो audience क्या हो रहा है?
Yeah.
So the shot का value खराब हो जाएगा. So I just use that kissing shot, and next when the music goes high, I use that tracking shot. Then when I explained to Ranbir and Tripti also, I said like, it will look like a painting. It will not look like.
It did look like a painting actually,
Yeah.
because it's almost like a still life. They're not moving at all.
Yeah, only the cigarette smoke is moving
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Yeah, it was a deliberate. It's like they're lost, just to give a feeling that, suddenly what happened? What is this new love story? And from there, within no time, I want to get to a point where she'll open the backstory. So when he says like, I knew from the day one that you are this, then there's a question that he could have threatened her. But knowing the fact, if you threaten, she'll not open.
Yeah.
So I wanted to.
You have to seduce.
Yeah, I thought like you've gone to that level also. That okay, I'll get this out. So yeah, it is actually layered very deep. It will be nice to see in the part 2 park. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Because,
Really?
Yeah. Because when you see, if you have noticed, when she says now go and kill her, she's always saying you murdered so many people. Now she's going to go and kill her. She's like, "वो मैं नहीं कर सकता." And I felt even the bootlicking scene also, I didn't want to piss somebody or I didn't do it to irritate somebody. It's like I knew that you're a mole. I knew that you have come here to do something wrong to me. But to kitna bhi, how much ever acting you had, I felt there is one little side of Ranvijay, there's a moment.
Yeah.
You can't see her fully acting. There's a moment of, see, she thought she'll cheat you, but she gave up.
Yeah.
But you know that she came to cheat you, but you are double cheating her.
Yeah.
And at one point, you also, as a man, you understood that she's really giving it. That, that warmth or whatever, So, there is a mild connection which he doesn't want to accept in front of the wife. Maybe he also hates the fact that he got a little connected with Zoya. So, that's why when she opened up, why did you say that, lick my shoe? Because she said, I really love you and I can't handle your hatred. I saw how much you love your father. हुआ तो हो सके तो मुझे माफ़ करना. मुझे, don't नफरत मत करना. क्यों? Because I love you so much. अच्छा, then lick my shoe. Because why he wants to prove? Because that's a very fine line showing that you also got connected.
Yeah.
That's why you are trying to test her. I don't know how many people understood that.
Right.
But most of them thought, oh God, he's asking her to lick the shoe. Point is not that. Point is, unknowingly you're connected. You enter into a very dark world. Now it's going to screw you up completely. That's what I want to show. But whatever it is, we'll see in the part 2. But this is a nice planting, which I thought it's a very fine way to do it.
Right.
But most of them thought about the bootlicking only. They never thought about the emotion.
It's, for me, it was the equivalent of like, yeah, you love me? Okay, jump out of that window.
Yeah.
Like, do something extreme.
Yeah.
Because at that moment, he's pissed off that she's saying, oh, I love you still, whatever it is, after doing all this. And he's like, this is an extreme, because he takes his leg away when she comes. Exactly. So he takes his leg away. So it's like, it's not like he really wanted her, but it's like more like saying, okay, if you really love me, jump out of the window, or some random thing. That's
like
the
a test.
Yeah, it's a test.
Yeah.
Or rather, he's kind of that irritated that moment has come about. Yeah.
That's why he'll tell to his cousin, Sangram bhai, izzat se pesh aana.
Yeah.
That's a warning. That warning is coming out of you. See, no matter what, you have a feeling that because of you, I found my, destiny.
Yeah.
So I know where to go and what to do. So that's why I think he'll say, "Oh, maine nahi kar sakta. I can't kill her."
Right.
So she'll ask, "Why you love her?" So that became more complicated there.
Right. So do you see Ranvijay as a misogynistic person?
See, actually, I don't know, most of the misogyny is disrespect to women, right? The actual definition of is that, right? So, nahi. Even Kabir Singh, even Animal, even me as a person, I always feel like my picture production name is Bhadrakali Pictures, and I don't know why people think that I did. People, not too many, only these 15, 20 jokers, but it's a wrong word to use on Kabir and Animal, What do you think? I want to ask you.
Right.
You think it's a misogynistic character, Kabir Singh or Arjun or this guy?
No, I'll tell you what I feel, right? See, the thing is, because the characters are so overheated and because the world is so overheated, everything is so extreme, I wouldn't apply the normal rules of the world to this world, right? See, for example, in this movie, he says, "I slap you." She says, "If you slap me, I'll slap you right back," or something like that, like kind of a thing. By the way, did that line come about because you wanted to?
No.
It came here. You didn't want to address your.
Because I thought like she's a girl, I'll slap you.
Yeah.
But I'll slap you first.
Yeah. So I'm like, see, because the characters are so extreme, for me, in your films, the rules of the normal world don't apply. Really. And that's what's good about it. Because it's like, see, for example, if you read books like Wuthering Heights and all those Gothic novels, right? It's this passion that is so like overpowering and all those kinds of stuff that it's like those people don't really, they'll seem like, to others, they will seem like mad people, but only they will know what that passion or whatever that thing is. So for me, it's like literally like watching through a glass wall people who look like us but behave in this very passionate, intense manner. And for me, what also, like, I know I get into a lot of discussions about this where people disagree with me, but where I see this is your heroes always end up paying for their mistakes. Whether it's Arjun Reddy, he loses the girl and he ends up messing up his career. He's forced to accept his mistake. He goes through a long period of self-reflection, self-realization, things like that. He gets to a bottom of a pit because he loses that girl. It's like, and then he has to lift himself up again and make himself worthy of getting her. It's only after he tells the medical board that, yes, no, I'm not going to take a refuge in a lie. I'm going to admit that I did a mistake because enough is enough. It's only then that after that he meets Preeti. Till then, he's not meeting Preeti like when he's still in that horrible, I'm a rock star phase. It's only after he realizes mistakes that he's meeting Preeti. This is how, at least I see it, right? And everybody's probably seeing it differently.
Yeah.
Similarly here, at the end, for all the things that he does, his father is still going to die. His wife goes away.
Yeah.
It's like he loses his hearing.
Yes.
He's like, it's not like they pay for whatever, like there's a kind of redemptive aspect, right? So for me, not redemptive, that's a wrong word, but what I'm trying to say is that, so I don't see it as I see it as these characters in this particular movie, and I guess it also has to do with how people see movies, because some people see movies as, okay, if you see this movie, then it impacts people outside in society. I see it as, this is a story being told within this frame, and I have to enter that world to understand those characters. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I know that a lot of people are going to find a problem with what I just said, but that's the way I process a film.
But this too much of analyzing and scrutinizing films started off late, right? Past 10 years? Before
I don't know, but I think
it started slowly.
But don't you think it's a good thing? Because it's like you get to hear different sides.
Get to hearing different sides is different, but completely without knowing the context, out of context, sirf few things you see and see. See, I've heard somebody saying like, now he's the hero of the film, asking a girl to makes a girl to lick his shoes. That's the wrong, because he never made her to lick.
Yeah.
And even when when she, the pregnant woman is threatening her that he's going to shoot. So all that, they say it in a very different context, but the context of the film is different.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that. Having a conversation people having a different point of view is always great.
Yeah.
Because it is affecting. The whole idea of art
Is to
upsets
create
people.
discussion,
Yeah.
But I think it's good because it's like, see, I see it this way, somebody else sees it some other way, somebody
Yeah.
else sees it some other way, and I think like that way.
That's fine, but I feel that's totally fine because the main aim of the art will definitely upset people, which my understanding of
Yeah.
it is. But playing a different context is different now because having a different point of view, criticizing, I love people criticize it because okay, you understood this way, but interpreting in a wrong way is my problem.
Yeah.
So that's a
See, if you don't see the movie and you comment about it,
Yeah.
or then that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely, that's a.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to not like a movie.
Yeah.
But at least watch it properly
Yeah.
and understand, and then dislike it or whatever.
Yeah,
It is.
like
Yeah.
yesterday we spoke thinking that nobody talks about the craft because I've seen people, this growing numbers, only talking about how he is misbehaving with the women and your review is over. I mean, like, they are taking it too personal.
Maybe because I watch so many violent films, I didn't find Animal particularly violent.
Exactly.
Uh,
What kind of world cinema we see,
Yeah.
the dark films we see, ये तो मतलब ठीक है.
Yeah, it's like, because I've seen very, very dark, disturbing,
True.
violent. Like if you see Saw or all those movies, those are like, those mess you up for days.
Yes.
This is not a
Old boy.
Old boy, yeah. This is not, for me at least. But then again, for somebody who has not seen those films, this is
Yeah.
a violent film.
Yeah.
I think it's also the exposure and other
No,
things.
they are exposed. I don't know, but only they are very particular when it comes to Indian film. Because I've seen people talking, reviewing great things about Joker and Wolf of the Wall Street. What I feel very funny is, I can understand random people talking about it, even reviewers are talking about it. Okay, I've seen people in the industry who are actors, the directors, attacking other persons of film. It's very, I mean,
I'd like to know first,
yeah.
you have proved people wrong by making the biggest box office successes, right? But why does this bother you so much?
No, that's what I'm saying. See, I'll tell you, my point is,
Like, why can't you just say, okay, they are not understanding the movie the way I intended it, and
that I can say to a person who saying like, I didn't like the film.
right?
But you are misinterpreting the film.
Is there some part of you that says, I want people to kind of really understand where I'm coming from?
No, I'm saying like if you don't understand also, like see, everybody takes it in a very different way. It's a hugely populated country.
Right.
But I'm saying like you belong to the film industry and not understanding this is like, I feel you wantedly doing this.
Right. Because I see that this is deeply bothering you in some way. Does this like affect your writing? For instance,
No,
do you
Not at all.
Not at all.
You think it affected?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when I'm seeing Animal,
Yeah.
I'm seeing a very free mind.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not seeing somebody putting
Yeah.
boundaries and
Yeah.
like I'm seeing a very free mind
Yeah.
when I see the screenplay of Animal.
Yeah.
So, but that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always good. Yeah, to
Yeah.
have a free mind when you write and
Yeah.
make films.
So it's
yeah.
not like, yeah. There is one part of this film that was very interesting among many other parts, which is like when he addresses the workers at the factory,
Yeah.
which is actually the one place where he's letting go of, or rather, like the fury that has been building up inside him, that's exploding at that point
Yeah.
to the workers of his factory.
Yes.
So, what made you say this is the point that this emotion should come out, rather than maybe at home, or maybe with his brother-in-law, or maybe with whatever else? And why did you name the factory Swastik Steels?
Because auspiciously, it's a very auspicious title, Swastika.
Swastika, yeah.
We always do this in our puja also, every
yeah.
time in Ganesh Chaturthi.
Yeah.
That remained in me, and I found it's very nice rhyming also, Swastik Steel. And that opening thing, I always wanted to put this factory thing at the furnace.
Right.
Side mein, there's a lot of furnaces are there, like huge factory, and there's a lot of crowd than what you see now. But it didn't happen because we saw the furnace, but they didn't allow us to go there and do. It's too much of heat also, actually. To have it from a distance also, they didn't let it happen because you have to get the crowd. It's tough to control crowd at the furnace. Anything can go wrong. So we got a kind of a studio kind of a thing, and we multiplied the crowd and did that. And I felt the moment he came, and I didn't want him to behave, shout, throw things and what has happened. Instead, I want to keep quiet. I just want him to meet the father.
Right.
because the once he saw the way that he was walking and the camera is charging onto Anilji, I thought this is a nice, you know, there's a gap which is getting filled after a long time. After that, he comes out, and I deliberately I want his rage to come out through speech.
Right.
Because two things are happening. One, he's motivating them to go back to your job, promising them that I'm going to get my father after 3 months here, and throwing the promise to the, even the media is covering it in a way. So I thought like 4, 5 things are happening in one. It's a nice thing to happen in any screenplay, because every time you have to address 4 different things in 4 different scenes, our length बढ़ जाएगा. It's already 3 hours 30 minutes. So that's the main thing.
Yeah.
I kept length also in mind. I thought like whatever rage and everything, the rage is coming out in the factory with the furnace in the side. It's very symbolically shot. I imagined that way, but I didn't get the furnace, but still it worked.
And it's also, there was a certain thing about the loyalty of the workers.
Yeah. 3 generations he's saying about, yeah.
Yeah, so that was coming across really well. That's
The way they were shouting and hooting and all that, yeah.
That they're all like it's
Yes.
almost like a rally.
Yeah.
You know, that is kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I think what makes that scene really human is that from that almost like that big political
Shakti
speech kind of a thing,
Yeah.
you cut to the thing on TV
Yeah.
and you show Anil Kapoor's face. He's like, again, like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Or what is he saying?
Yeah.
And that makes it very human, because
Yeah.
from a very powerful thing, you're seeing now the other side. It's like why can't this guy just be like regular?
And there's one line actually, because I didn't want it to shoot like a live. I wanted to shoot like it has already happened. He's watching the TV, and Mishra uncle comes and he says, "Balbir, dekha tere bete ki dahad." I just wanted to say, like, look at him. He is actually the real successor. I want to use that, but I thought like there's no need.
Right.
Anil ji ke face mein wo dikh gaya.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I thought like I'll not get that. So and anyways, it's live also. So I thought like I opted out. But I don't know whether you noticed. It's like I felt ki maybe he's a capable guy. Maybe he's the real successor of the Swastik Steel or whatever empire he has. He has the leadership qualities.
Right. More importantly, that's a very alpha male scene.
Yeah. Motivating and all that. And for him to see like he's in US from past 8 years, he's just landed yesterday morning and next day he's in the factory. He's like, it's not easy to talk like that.
Yeah.
That he is surprised also, and at the same time he's feared also. He's getting scared.
Yeah.
Ki ab kya karega ye? And cut to, there's a dialogue actually. Kahan hai wo? I removed that also. There's no need kahan hai. I want straight show into the fields. He's going to Punjab. So, yeah.
At the end, you said Animal Park.
Yeah.
What was that name? That name, how did it come about?
I thought like, everybody, there's a bunch of animals now. It's not only 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So it's a warfare now.
Right.
So it's a kind of Mahabharata now between brothers and cousins and all that.
Right. Did that scene at the airport again, the fight between the cousins, that is Abrar and Ranvijay, it looks like one of those National Geographic documentaries where, some 2 animals are fighting for like hours together. Like they're just going on and on and on and on, and like there's no kind of, until one of them kills the other, they're just going to keep fighting kind of a thing. Yes. Is that again something that you had in mind?
Because in the usual fight, even when you narrate it to the stunt master also, they'll say, "Sir, this is open ground. There's nothing to throw on each other," because they always want some properties to throw on each other. So it's there's nothing other than the fist fight. You have to punch it till somebody dies, and both are deliberately saying we don't want weapons. It's quite a bit of challenge also for the choreographer to create that.
Right.
So that's why we're constantly getting ideas of smoking and, open the zip and all that, having conversation in between. So, in our Mahabharata and Puranas, they say, that how much ever your opponent is cruel, you have to give him one last chance.
Yeah.
So I thought like maybe he'll ask him, because grandfather said leave him. So he thought like maybe he'll just take a word from him. Because I always feel like, my characters always in the film always respect the, enemy also, opponent also. They give equal respect, because even in Arjun, this is what again I noticed, even in Arjun he'll ask him, promise me that you're not going to come back to my girl again. And then he'll say like, okay, I promise you.
This is that holy scene, right?
That holy scene.
Yeah.
So I thought, I don't know, this is also I noticed after the release actually. I'm comparing what it's so. He'll say like, promise me that you'll not come back again. Because I didn't spend one day, a proper day. And grandfather said that we are brothers now. Maybe he also touched, he felt like, finally, your brothers are coming towards you. And his grandfather clearly says, जैसे ये तेरे भाई है, वो भी तेरे भाई है, माफ कर दे उसे.
Yeah.
That's a fact actually.
Yeah. Is Animal Park going to be your next film?
So next is Spirit.
Spirit. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
With,
That's
Baradwaj.
and but you're going to kind of keep working on this as well, like Animal Park.
No, I'll after that I'll work because I don't believe in writer's room and all that. Multiple
Okay.
writers. I write my own stuff. I never worked with co-writers. I don't know how that will work. I'll try one day, but
But in this film, there are two writers credited along with you, right?
the screenplay. It's a
The screenplay.
Yeah.
But story you
Yeah,
write.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Screenplay because I always discuss with my brother. Yeah, so
Is there any point where any of the actors, Ranbir or Rashmika, or any of the actors said, why is this happening, or what is happening here, or kind of a thing? Because, when we watch the finished product, everything is kind of clear. But when you're in it and when you're making it, there may be things that are not, because your shoot is always out of sync. You're not shooting in order or whatever it is. Is there any point that
no, actually good that you brought this up because yesterday night only we were discussing with my ADs and my brother. There's not even one single moment in the film, in the narration, especially with Ranbir, that he questioned the thought of the film. That Sandeep, what do you think this is coming now? I don't think so. This is right. He always tried to gauge and understand where this energy is coming from or why this scene is coming. He's always, I think there's a director inside him also. So because he never asked me saying that I don't think so this is going to work like that. He always believed in everything because I used to ask him, Ranbir, everything I narrate you are liking, is everything okay? Matlab, I was getting doubt on myself. Why is he liking everything? Why is he not saying anything? Ki I have problem in this, problem in that. He used to say like, Sandeep, everything you narrate is superb. It is so new, so real. I never heard of. So it's like while making only you feel that confidence. Like an actor who is so senior, he 16 films old, is finding everything new. That means kuch to hai story mein,
is Spirit going to be another wild, free film?
I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, but I'll be free while writing. I don't think about how it is being criticized. I think that should not come because it will
So,
completely deviate from your originality. So
right. Now, this also means that you can only choose certain actors with certain image for your movie. Is that because maybe not everybody will fit into this world, right? Because some of them might have very, like, because one thing that I read was you're trying to make a love story with Nani.
No, I just I wanted to narrate him long back in 2010.
But I can't imagine you making a Nani type of love story because that's a very different zone.
Yeah.
But is that something that you had in mind?
No, this is long time back before my debut. I wanted to narrate a story. By then, Nani was not the same Nani today.
Right.
He was also just starting new.
Right.
So that's a different story.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it true that for the kind of the zone that you're interested in, the place or the characters that you're interested in, you'll only be able to work with certain actors with a certain kind of image?
No, nothing like that. Because if you see Animal, it is you'll not think Ranbir will fit into this.
Right.
Because
actually that's true because
because when he said yes, and when he started getting into the treatment of the scenes, elaborating the scenes, it became customized for him because I know he's going to play now. Because usually what happens is you write, then you pitch.
Right.
This happened in a way that you pitched the idea, he liked it, and you started getting into the scenes. Or tailor-made ban gaya.
Can you give me an example of how you tailored a scene for Ranbir?
For example, the factory scene, the walk, the simple promise of putting hand like that and turning and saying it. He had his own style of doing it, and obviously I added few things, and he was very much ready to adapt into whatever new thing which is coming. Even the way he's smoking, the way he's putting his hand like that, everything, he took it very organically. Like it was never like I'm pasting it on him, you know. And he did it very effortlessly, which is
right.
very
No, but I'm asking, like, is there a scene that you wrote specifically saying, I know Ranbir is going to do the scene, so I'm going to write it this way?
For example, you know, the way he comes and converses, because it is Ranbir,
to Gitanjali.
Yeah, yeah, you're feeling it more like that. Even the action part, even the, you know, wackiness in the character, because of Ranbir's personal vulnerability, helped a lot for this character.
Right.
You know, because it's very unusual. For example, if this is a story, imagine I didn't meet Ranbir for the line. I wrote the story, and if I had pitched it to you, you would always imagined a mass hero in this. You know, you would never imagined actor from Sanju or Jawani Diwani will fit into this. Because I always noticed in Rockstar and in few scenes where I used to see a great rage in his eyes.
Right.
I always used to find this is action hero eyes. Maybe he's doing some rom-com, you're not feeling it, but when you place him, he'll be great. This is my personal feeling. Whenever I saw his films, there were a few bits and pieces that they're coming out, popping out, like, hey, pakada gaya, the action hero. You know, it was like that for me. So it worked. I mean,
yeah. All the best for Spirit.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on the big success of Animal.
Thank you.
And I think it's kind of done better than what you expected, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you the kind of writer who also, because you said that certain things that you do for shock, like for example, cutting from the plane to the car kind of a thing, you do keep the audience in mind while you're writing?
Yes.
That's
Definitely.
Something that you...
Yes.
That you do that. So.
And I always, even in the scenes when I reread it and when I sleep over it, I always feel that, like we said it in the yesterday interview, like I always feel like my feeling is directly proportional to the gallery. I always feel, till now 3 films it worked. Let's see for the further films, but I always feel, मुझे पसंद आ रहा है तो शायद audience को भी अच्छा लगेगा. You know,
nice.
Yeah.
So cool. All the best for Spirit, and thank you so much for this session.
Thank you so much. I had fun. Great fun. Yeah.
தங்கள் தேவைகள் அனைத்தும் ஒரே இடத்தில் ஜெயச்சந்திரன் டெக்ஸ்டைல்ஸ்.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The Chennai Silks, let the celebrations begin.